Welcome to the Red and Green Report.
Órale, let's do this. Yo, KOS in the building. Welcome to the Red and Green Report, man, the Orale podcast. Right now we are in my casa setting up the very first episode of this podcast. Got the homeboy here, Omega, a.k.a. DJ Heavy Rotation. Real name, John Gomez. Really good friend of mine, brother from another mother. Can't wait to hear his story, man. He's going to tell us a lot. I call him the local Albuquerque historian. I'm happy he's here. So what's up, man? What's cracking?
What's good?
We hit up. Actually, I had been as a kid. We hit up Helen's Bakery this morning as like a post party. Like, yo, we need to get some. Wait, you got menudo?
That's right.
And you got the small bowl.
Yep.
And I said I'm gonna go big or go home, and I got the large bowl of pozole, and I couldn't, man.
I told you, bro. They're like big bowls. I told you they're like big bowls of pho, bro. They're gonna be hella big, and they give you like the bombest bolillos, you know, the ranchero bread, you know.
Yeah,
so,
that's what's up.
It is what it is.
Yeah, thanks for taking me, man. Like I always drive by that place, especially when I would go to Hastings. Remember the Hastings right there?
Yeah, bro.
To like buy vinyl or whatever, and I'd always see it, and I always heard from like you and other people that they got the bomb this, they got the bomb that. The tamales are only what? It's like $20 for a dozen.
Exactly.
Word, man. Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah, we need to, bro. We should do a food blog.
I know, bro.
We should do a food pod.
How do you think I got this beautiful body, bro? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's kind of what I want to do with the podcast as well, man. But Helen's Bakery, man, like unofficial sponsor of the podcast this afternoon. So man, thank you, Helen's Bakery. It was bomb. I need to get the small bowl next time though. But so where were you born?
So I was actually born in downtown Albuquerque in Barelas, which predates Old Town, and my family moved here because they're from northern New Mexico, and like a lot of families, they all moved here. They migrated here because there was less jobs in rural areas. My grandfather was a World War II veteran, and he was constantly getting taken to the VA because he was a POW. So my grandma just decided to move here, and also my great-grandparents moved here as well because they were aging and there wasn't as many resources up north for them. So they moved us downtown. Well, they moved downtown, and I just recently found out, my mom told me about this, and I had no idea till maybe like a year ago, that the house my grandmother owned in that neighborhood was actually built in Las Vegas, New Mexico. My grandfather was a carpenter by trade. Well, he was, in our culture, bro, we're, master of none, but we know a little bit of everything, So they separated the house into two pieces, and they moved it over here on flatbeds all the way to Albuquerque, and they settled in Barelas like many families. If anybody reads a book, Heart of Aslan explains that story, that many rural people from our community end up here because there was a lot of jobs that, with the train company, you know what I mean, in Barelas or whatever it was, Bueno, there was just more opportunity here for them to better their lives. But it just happens to be that they ended up in Barelas because my Uncle Lawrence, what had happened was he was the oldest son. My dad has a family of 7 siblings, and so in other words, bro, I have a big ass family, dog.
Yeah, we're done.
You know what I'm saying? Like my great grandfather was 102 when he died, but for his 100th birthday, there was over 152 grandkids counted. Grandkids, great grandkids, and great great grandkids. And we're able to see him grow up, and it was crazy. But most of them ended up here. There's a lot left in northern New Mexico, and that's just my dad's side, And so I was born in Barelas, and I think at the age of 4, my dad moved us to Martinez Town. And I think he thought he straight up told me, he's like, I don't want you growing up the way I did in that neighborhood because my dad had almost been killed several times in that neighborhood because that's what you rep where you're from, you know. But it just made me more expandable because my loyalty was always with my family's neighborhood. All my cousins are from that hood on my dad's side. Even my mom's side, my OGs, they're from that neighborhood. And they pretty much told me, they're like, you live in this other neighborhood, but you can't be from that neighborhood. You know what I mean? You got to be from your neighborhood that we're from. And I'm like, all right, cool. But I just made more homeboys. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, that kind of sums up my childhood, I guess, like in a span. But I was always an artistic kid because we were real poor. So we didn't have a lot of money. Never had cable and shit like that. So I got into drawing at an early age. And I also used to play what we call monos in Spanish, but action figures. And I would always make sound effects like a Uzi, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all those things kind of like, all that stuff just goes into play with where I'm at now. You know what I mean? And I mean, we'll probably get to that point, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you are where you're from, you know, and I'm proud to be from downtown Albuquerque for sure. I mean, Burque in a nutshell, New Mexico in a nutshell, but you know, my family are norteños, you know, like northern New Mexicans, but downtown Albuquerque, you know what I mean?
That's what's up. Well, cool, man. What elementary school did you go to?
So I actually went to Longfellow Elementary, which is right on the beginning of Martineztown. And it was kind of a trip because you had these hood-ass kids, and then you have these, like, upper middle class, almost rich kids that go there because their parents work at UNM or they work in, you know, at the hospital next door. It used to be called St. Joseph's. And I actually lived in the house right in front of the school. So I grew up right there in that area. But
you never missed a day.
No, hell no. Dude, the crossing guard knew my name. He knew my dad's name. You know what I'm saying? Man. The principal, everything. You know.
They could see you across the street.
Yeah, for real, bro. So, it was a good experience because all my homeboys from Martineztown, you know, they put me through the ringer, but it made me tough, you know. And then my homeboys from Barelas, they put me through the ringer too because I wasn't living there, but they knew who my family was. You know what I'm saying? They knew who my cousins were and shit. So, but it made me tough. It made me creative, bro. It made me understand that you got to find your own lane. Yeah. You can't just be in everybody else's lane. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool. It was a tough experience, but I mean that whole area right there between Edith, because we're right on the border of the Sticks, which is South Broadway, or the Sticks, whatever you want to call it, and Emmett Martineztown. And then, you know, it's not very far over the bridge to Barelas. So, you know, when we're kids, we rode bikes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we were on a mish. You know what I mean? And every summer, my mom or my dad would, you know, they'd be like, all right, what are you going to do today? I'm like, go get a free lunch. You know, in the summertime, you know, when you're on a Christmas, summer break, whatever. What are you going to do today? I'm like, I'm going to go get free lunch. But we'd hit up like free lunch spots in every neighborhood. Okay. Because they had that hour span of where they'd hand out the free lunches.
So you get on your bike.
Yeah, and we'd be on a mish, bro. Like 9 years old, bro, would be like, all right, hit up right here in this Martineztown Park. Boom. Hit up the next Martineztown Park. Run back, ride back to Montano. Go over to Wells. And then circle around and go to try to make it to Barelas just in time. And get theirs too, bro. And then we're not supposed to take free lunches, but we didn't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? We would just kind of hustle it. We had backpacks and shit. And so I got, I had a lot of homeboys from those three neighborhoods. So, it was beneficial to me as an adult. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or growing up at that age group, because as we got older, it got a little bit more hectic, But it was cool, man. It was, as Zapp and Roger says, it was so rough, so tough out here, baby. But at the same time, what he means is like, it's just fortifying you for the future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Those experiences, and then along with the memory, kind of just makes you a stronger human being.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's a cool story, though, man. You hop around at the different parks, and then you're with the homies. It's almost like a competition. Like, can we get this done?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we're learning how to be hustlers, at an early age, I guess.
Word. Yeah. And then what middle school?
So I went to Jefferson. And the same thing, it was just like a bigger Longfellow. It was mixed. Because then you had all these professors from UNM and these teachers that took their kids there. Then you had all the kids from Martineztown, some Wells, some of the kids from the beginning of the war zone. You know, but it was intense in those days, though. It wasn't a walk in the park, because the music at that time influenced us, and gang culture was still real heavy. So it was like, you better get down, or you're gonna get downed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't a punk school, but it was still like, it was weird, because like, I ran into this cat, and he's like a manager at this company now. I'm not gonna name no names, and I said, "Hey, what's up, bro?" And I thought we were cool when we were kids. And he was just like, "Man, what's up, fool?" He's like, "Man, I remember you used to bully everybody." I was like, I didn't bully no damn buddy. I got bullied too, dog. You know what I mean? But I think for him, since he was like more, you know, he grew up with like better means. Like, he just saw everybody as a threat. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of weird. I remember when I was younger, you know, you grew up poor, so you learn to hustle, like I said, right?
Yeah.
So my grandma, one time, she gave me a $20 bill, and I was like, "Dang, you give me a $20 bill?" She's like, "Well, you're going to the flea market, mijo," you know what I mean? I was like, "Cool." It was my mom's mom, and I went and I bought they used to sell these packs of lime salts, and that was when lime salts got real popular. And I knew my uncles were hustlers, and my dad's and them, you know what I mean, like on the G-tip. So I went to the flea market, and I bought a 100 pack of lime salts, and I took them to school, and I didn't, you know, I just took them to school, and people were like asking me for them, and I was just like, by the time I got down to 50, I was like, "Nah, you got to give me a quarter." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, because I'm running out, I'm like, fuck, you know, because I was all into lime salt. I don't know, I had like this weird, I don't know, I was just into it, whatever. But so I started charging people a quarter, and then I snapped. I was like, man, you know, I can move this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I started, the next weekend, I took what I made from that last, you know, however many lime salts, and I went and bought another 100. Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then the next weekend, I went and bought chili lime salts and another regular lime salt. And then the next weekend, I went and bought chili suckers. You know what I'm saying? So I had my own little business going for the first semester.
That's what's up, man.
And so the principal at Jefferson called me in the next semester with the security guard and was like, "We heard you've been selling candy and all that." Well, what happened was the snack bar was losing money because all the kids were...
Yeah, they were buying from
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Like,
exactly, you know?
O's got the better shit. Fuck the snack bar.
Yeah, the numbers went down. It was hilarious, bro. And I was like, dang, this is how it works. You know, this is how you do it. You know, I you know, when you're a kid, you know, Jefferson was cool, but it was still violent too, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, there was Crips there was Bloods there, Martineztown. You know, it was a violent school, but it was still like kind of bougie. It was weird. You know what I mean? It was like a weird mix.
It was a different environment.
Yeah.
As far as the mix of students that were going there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's what my dad thought, that like moving us to Martineztown from Barelas and me not going to Washington was gonna help. But it was the same shit, dog.
Yeah.
But, you know, he did what he did. He thought he made the right choice, and that's all good because, you know, I still love it.
That's what's up, man. And then from Jefferson, you went to high school. What?
No, Mom and Pops got a divorce, so I moved to Las Vegas, New Mexico for a semester.
Okay.
And that was probably one of the most difficult parts of my life because I was considered a big city kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're from Albuquerque, you know what I mean? And it's small, dog, you know? Dude, and I'm not even I'm not like lying or anything. Like, there was 2 black families in the whole city, you know? And I think it's like a city of like, at the time of like 30,000, you know, like 2 families, you know? Like, what kind of diversity is there, you know what I'm saying? So you come from out of town, and it was crazy, but it kind of sucked because my cousin JR, he's on my mom's side of the family. When he moved here, he ended up going to Jefferson, and I showed him nothing but love, you know what I mean? And he didn't embrace me the same, because what happened is his mom and dad got a divorce, so he moved here, right? And when he went to Jefferson, I made sure like nobody messed with them or anything. We're the same age or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? I introduced him to everybody, whatever. And those are vital stages of your life. You know what I'm saying? That's going to kind of determine the direction you're going to go in a sense. Yeah. Because you're about to become an adult in like 6 years. So you're like learning who you are, I guess, you know? But that fool, he didn't do the same thing for me when he moved back and I went there and I didn't have no skina. I didn't have no backup. So when I moved there, like my first day I threw down. And ever since then, it just rolled downhill, you know?
Yeah.
And then I had other cousins because my family's from up there, but it was weird. Like, they were in different age groups. I mean, they were like 6th graders and I was a 7th grader. And then I had a cousin who was a freshman, you know? But I didn't really have no homeboys there. I made homeboys right away, you know, but it was so difficult. I remember like being on the bus and fools wanting to jump me and stuff, and it was just real difficult. So I'd walk home, which is like probably about 4 miles away, you know. Yeah. And then I would make sure I take the bougie route because there is like a little bougie area, I guess. You know what I mean? My cousin Frances, shout out to my cousin Frances. She told me what's up. She's like, this is how you walk home. So you avoid these fools because there's this set over here. And, you know, every town has little cliques, you know. Yeah. So I would walk home that way. Okay. Plus, there was a Dairy Queen on the way, dog. You know what I'm saying? I was about to go get me that Oreo Blizzard. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So, wait, you went to middle school in Vegas, too, then?
Yeah. So I stayed there a semester and we moved back. So, and then we moved to Bernalillo, which was another trip because my grandmother moved to Bernalillo from Albuquerque. And then I caught beef with those fools, too. Okay. And that's right when I was about to start the 8th grade. You know what I mean? Okay. And this is a time when, like, you know, oh, you're the new kid. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, caught beef there. My pops, he got an apartment in the South Valley. So, that's a new stage. Here we go. And that, I thought Vegas was difficult. I do still think at that age it was, like, the most difficult part. You know? Yeah.
Middle school's always an awkward time.
Dude, it was crazy. But in our days here, bro, it was ruthless, dog. You know? So my dad gets an apartment in the South Valley down the street from my Nino and Nina's house, which means godparents, you know. Obviously, you know that. And so now there's all these new cliques, you know. So now I'm in, like, this other area, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I remember my first day of school. Well, when I first moved there, it was right before school. And so I met these fools in the apartment complex. And they were cool. It was right on Rio Bravo and Coors on Flora Vista. My cousins lived up the street. And it was cool because my Nino lived up the street, and he was like one of the only people in our family that actually owned a home. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, it was crazy. I remember one time I had to go do laundry over there because they had a washer and dryer. And my dad went to work, and it was in the summer, and he was like, go take the laundry to Nino and Nina's. You do the laundry. You come over here and you hang them on the perchas, which is the clotheslines. Because, you know, that's just the way I grew up. And so I was carrying the bag of laundry home over my shoulder, and these fools from another hood rolled up on me, and they're like, what are you doing, Ese? Carrying your fucking lunch or what? Because I'm a big dude, you know what I mean? And even at that age, I was already big, you know what I'm saying? And I thought I was going to get jumped, you know what I mean? And I was like, all right, first introduction. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And
welcome.
Yeah, for real. But all this time, bro, I always had my art and my music. That was like always my outlet, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like always. Like I feel like Jehovah blessed me with being artistic to a certain extent to occupy myself so I don't get trapped in the mix. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it was a trip moving over there, bro, because I experienced so much. Dude, people don't realize, bro. Like if you ain't from a certain part of town and then you move there, you got to acclimate to it. Like sections, like it's like regions. And even though we're a small city, big city mentality, small city reality, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's an adjustment. You know what I'm saying? We moved to the South Valley. I go to school. Meet up with these dudes. I didn't have no friends because my cousin that lived up the street, he's a year and 2 days younger than me. But they didn't let the age groups go to lunch together. Oh, okay. So I didn't have no homeboys, right? Yeah. But on my first day at school, my little cousin told me, I was waiting at the front gate with him, and he's like, yeah, this fool right here tried to punk me for my shoes. And I was like, what?
So what school is this?
This is Harrison.
Okay.
Yeah, it's over there in the South Valley, between Valley Garden. It's right in front of Adobe Acres. Okay. And then I'm like, what? So I walk up to this fool because he's dogging my little cousin, and I tell him, my younger cousin, and I tell him, I said, bro, don't you ever fucking try to punk my cousin. Little did I know he was rolling deep with, you know, he was by himself right then and there. And then so at lunch that day, you know, shit got cracking. And
welcome.
Because, my little cousin and his homeboys were a year younger than me. So long story short, during the 7th, I was in the 8th. And at that time, you're already a G at that time, you know.
Mm.
So I got cracking. But with that being said, those dudes ended up being my homeboys.
Yeah.
Because they respected that I stood up for my cousin. You
That's
know what I mean?
up. Yeah.
So the crew was called CSC, Crazy Style Chicanos.
Mm.
The black dudes who were in the crew, because there was a couple of them, was called Crazy Style Crips.
Okay.
Which is weird because, you know, I don't really hang out with too many of those, but they're cool. But it was a trip, you know, like they ended up being my good ass homeboys. Little did I know though, it was we call it tag banging. It's a gang, but they're taggers.
Okay.
They're not really necessarily a gang, and usually a tag banging crew is associated with the gang.
Okay, yeah.
So they happen to be associated with Crips and 5 Points.
Okay.
So, actually, Johnny Tapia's nephew Benny was from it too, his godson, and then his other cousin, and you know, that's how I met those fools. And they're like, "Oh, we're from Wells, Park," and I was like, "Fuck yeah, dog!" I said, "I'm from Barelas, you know, and I grew up in Martinez Town too, you know."
Okay.
I said, I'm from downtown too, you know." So right away we clicked. Right away, once they find out, you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up being cool, but little did I know the damage they had done prior years, like their older homeboys. So then the whole school was against us, and it was tough, bro. It was tough because, I mean, you know, you don't have the coolest clothes. You don't have, you know what I'm saying? And you got some bougie fucking Chicanos out there and bougie people in the hood too. And they you know, they see you and they're like, "Oh, I got this, I got that." And I'm like, "Motherfucker, but can you do this? Can you do that?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, word up.
You know, it's just like, I think a lot of the times people who are too blessed financially are less artistic, you know, and I'm just blessed that I had that artist
mentality,
mindset, to like avoid too much bullshit, you know.
That's what's up.
But you still catch it growing up at that time, growing up out here. You know?
you had a positive outlet.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
That kind of kept
sure,
you with,
sure.
yeah.
But I was still out tagging and shit at that age. I was still out doing graffiti. I remember I stole fucking spray paint from the art shop.
Ooh.
Yeah, we went bombing.
Yeah.
And this dude on a horse, we're on the ditch painting over there. And that was at the time we were going to Harrison. We ditched, and this dude on a horse chased us on the horse. But we got away, though. We ran across the ditch.
Dude on a horse, man.
So what happened was the ditch bank was empty because he was riding his horse on the ditch, and he saw us tagging. And so we run across the ditch bank, and he couldn't get across the ditch bank. So we got away, you know, we got lucky. And there was no cell phones
run.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
dude, yeah.
So we were dipping, you know
on
what I
a
mean?
horse, man. That's some Albuquerque shit.
Yeah, nah, for real, bro. In the South Valley especially, you know what I'm saying, you know? But it was a trip, bro. And then it got real heavy at that school, man. We made the newspaper and everything because the tagging crew I joined, because I told them, they're like, "Well, you got to get jumped in." And I said, "Nah." I said, "My uncle already told me I can't get jumped into nowhere. Nowhere, no other clique." I said, "I'll be down with y'all, but I can't do that." I said, "My uncles will beat my ass. My cousins will beat my ass because they're all from Barelas, you know?" You know, so, you know, he already warned me when I was already living in Martinez Town. He's like, "You can't get jumped in Martinez Town. We'll fuck you up." Like, and he was straight up about it. He was like,
serious business.
Yeah, he was like straight up about it. You know what I mean? He's like, "Nope, your loyalties to this neighborhood," you know? So I was like, I always went with that. And, so I told him no, but I still ran with them, and I still pushed the line because I thought it was just about graffiti, and I was already in the graffiti at that time. So I was the best one in the crew at graffiti.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And when did you get into graffiti? Was that at elementary, middle school?
I remember being in the 5th grade and the 6th grade and doing letters because my Uncle Animal from Barelas used to be an old school b-boy.
Okay.
And a graffiti writer. And multiple things. He was a huge influence on my life. And he showed me at a very young age how to start doing letters. And like, he didn't know all the terminology. You got to understand. As far as hip hop culture goes, and like the knowledge of hip hop culture, the only knowledge we would really have is from movies, Hollywood, like maybe some magazines in the 80s. You know, the traditional history of hip hop.
Yeah.
As a culture. And so his terminology wasn't correct. So growing up, you'd be like, "Oh, this is called a bomb." But what he meant was it was a throw up, like bubble letters. Okay. You know what I'm saying? You know, but he showed me like how to do like brick designs and, you know, the basics. So
let me cut you off again. And so what can you, all right, I've had trouble with this as well. And as a hip hop, I love hip hop. I kind of feel bad, but can you explain like the difference between a throw up, a bomb?
All right, cool. So a throw up is a bit okay. So you have a tag, or we call it hand styles.
Okay.
Meaning, which is like somebody just goes tags
Quick.
Yeah, just like a tag, like you write your name in a fancy style.
Okay.
And then you have shitty tags. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like toy shit. We call them toys.
Yeah.
And then from there you have a throw up.
Okay.
Which is like a bubble letter, you know what I mean?
A little more detail.
Yeah, a little bit more. No, like it's just not a tag. What it is, it's like an outline, but it depicts what it could be. Okay. Then that could even go farther. Like you could even get deeper on that. But from a throw up, then you have things like blockbusters or like they call them straight letter. There's all this terminology. But then the thing is, you have a piece, or they call them burners, which is like where you really take your time and it's very like, you really put a lot of effort into it and it looks beautiful.
Yeah. And
that's where people are like, oh, I love street culture. I mean, street art. And I'm like, I have a problem with that because people are like, oh, street art. I'm like, graffiti is illegal. Mm. It's not meant to be just art.
Yeah.
It's a
message.
It's a message of rebellion.
It's a form of communication.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know what? Fuck y'all, I'm going to show you my beauty. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I was taught anyways. Yeah. But he showed me, the basics of that. And amongst other things, like he's a huge influence on my life. Whether it was gangbanging, and like I said, I never been jumped. Well, I didn't say that, but I never been jumped into my neighborhood. But I'm guilty by association regardless because of who my family is. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And I pushed the line. I pushed that. I pushed that line, and the homeboys know it too. Yeah. I've caught beef with my own neighborhood. You know what I mean? Because they're like, oh, we did this, we did that, and I was like, yeah, but where were you when this went down? Yeah. I was there. Were you there? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I had good OGs, bro. Good OGs. Mm-hmm. And the ones who weren't around when all the good OGs were gone were poison. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But back to the
middle school.
Middle school, there was a huge situation where there was, and I think if I remember correctly, when we went to court, there was a situation where the dudes from Crazy Style Chicanos, the older dudes had started a lot of beef with all these other dudes, and so their little brothers had animosity towards them. See, I didn't know that when I started kicking it with them, so I inherited that again. Mm-hmm. Guilty by association. I'm running with them, so you gotta ride the ship with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Excuse me. There was this dude, and he kept pushing the line. And then finally one day in the cafeteria, we were going to thump. And then he backed down because he realized, like, yeah, this motherfucker's probably going to body slam me or something. I'm a big dude, you know? Even at that time, bro. In the 8th grade, bro, I was already 6 foot. You know what I'm saying? So then he got all his homeboys, and we went to the back of the school. We're going to thump, and he didn't want to fight. So then the next day we show up and we're kicking it, all 4 of us. And there was this little dude, and you know how the South Valley is, bro. Yeah. You white boy, you're going to get picked on. And that's unfortunate because the homie was cool as hell, bro. Cool as hell.
I mean, that was the atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's going to happen.
So we took him under our wing to protect him, right? That dude walked up to that dude. I'm not going to mention his name or anything, but he just dropped him. Boom. So my homeboy Isaac just went and dropped him, boom, and then all his homeboys rushed all of us. It ended up being like, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, it ended up being like 40-12. It was crazy. Like I remember like 7 dudes being around me. I mean, I got knocked out. I woke up in the office. Yeah. And then when the cops came in and pulled us out, there was a helicopter, there was dogs, there was the SWAT team.
And this is middle school.
This is middle school, bro. Yeah. And I'm not exaggerating, bro. This is straight up, bro. This is straight up, bro. And that same year, during the summertime, right after that, right before I started high school, it was low, bro. You know what I mean? It was crazy, dog. We used to go to Skate Palace on the west side. It used to be called Roller West. And my cousins from my neighborhood would show up and my homeboys. And they'd always bring and these dudes literally, okay, I'm in the 8th grade, they're in the 6th grade, bro. Mm-hmm. They're in the 6th grade, bro, carrying straps. Like, no joke. Hiding them on the ditch behind Skate Palace. Yeah. Because we're not in our neighborhood and we're in the South Valley, you know? And they're like, yeah, fool, we're going to put the straps over here and everything. And I'm like, I'm hoping nothing pops off. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, that's,
you know what I'm saying? Grade. Like, dude, nah, bro. Like, they're already G'd up from the feet up from the get-go. But their older brothers are low. You know, my older cousins and stuff. Like, they don't play around, you know? And, but they knew that, you know, our neighbor, my uncle always told me this. We don't have the biggest neighborhood, but it's better to have a small metal chain than a big plastic one.
That's an interesting saying, man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, because those links are easier to break when you're too big. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? When you're small and unified, you know, you work as a unit. And that doesn't always work either. Because like I said, I've caught beef with fools that I grew up around with too, you know. So, but at the same time, like we would go to Skate Palace. I couldn't roller skate for shit. So I wouldn't roller skate, but I would dance with chicks, you know? Yeah. And
you're a good dancer, man.
No, you know I get down, bro.
I'd be at the bar, I'm like, oh man, I'll make us dancing again, bro. Damn. I just gotta show us up every single time. Man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, it's all gravy. No, I like to get loose, homie. You know, but we'd show up, I'd be dancing with chicks or whatever. And in those days, it was like you're trying to find who you are, right? And so I'd keep an eye out because my cousins and them would be skating and stuff, and the homies from the neighborhood. You know, I'd watch out. And they know I live down there. I live literally walking distance to the skating rink.
Okay.
And so we used to roll over there, and it was kind of hectic. But, you know, when you're a kid, like I said, there was no social media or nothing. So you're bored. You're going to go out and you're going to take risks. And there used to be a clique right behind the Allsups. They're another hood. And the older dudes would try to punk us all the time. And it kind of sucked, bro. You know, because we lived right next to, like, on the next street from their little barrio. Like, it was a tiny little barrio. And they kind of exist, but they don't really exist no more. But we're walking, we're like, let's go to Skate Palace, but first let's go to Allsups and get an Allsups burrito, because Skate Palace is across from Allsups.
That's what's up, yeah.
So we're walking through their neighborhood, and we shouldn't have done that. Oh. And they're outside drinking in front of, you know, one of them had a cutlass. You know, they're sitting there with these girls and everything, and they walk up, and here we are, these youngsters, these little 8th graders, and these fools are already like, I don't know, maybe like 19, you know what I'm saying? And probably a little bit older even, and we're walking through, and they're like, you know where you at, fool? You know, you're gonna get a hood check.
These are practically adults talking to.
But they also assumed that I'm older because I was so tall.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I said, yeah, we know where we're at, G. You know, we know where we're at, fool. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And at this time, I had a fucking backpack full of spray paint, too. Because I was still tagging and shit, you know. I was still bombing. And let's just say they came to rush us and we ran, and they started laughing. And as we're running up the hill, one of them pulled out a 22, because you could tell a 22 shot. It's not very loud. He started shooting at the ground to scare us, and the bullet hit my leg. Oh, but it didn't go into my leg. It just skimmed my leg. And then my homeboys helped me get home. But I didn't even realize I had got hit until like we were running, and we went around the back, and we jumped this fence. But I couldn't jump the fence because I'm a big dude. So the bottom of the fence, the chain link fence, was loose, and I just rolled under it, dog.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Just rolled myself under it and got through toward the side where we live. And my homeboy Luis's grandma was kind of like all old school, like curandera style, you know what I mean? And she just burned a hot rod on the stove because the bullet didn't go into me, you know what I'm saying?
You didn't go to the hospital?
No. I'm not. My mom and dad told me when I was young, you could go out and do what the fuck you want. I used to stay out till 6 a.m. on my own when I was in 6th, 7th, 8th grade. My dad just said, you could do whatever the fuck you want. Just don't hurt nobody, and don't get hurt, and don't ever call me from jail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was the code of the streets. You know, that's how we grew up, you know? Because my dad was my dad was hardcore when he was young. You know what I'm saying? We have this saying in our clique, humble savages. You know what I mean? Like, we'll get savage if we have to, but we'll treat you right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know, and so, yeah, she got like this hot piece of metal, and she just singed it. You know what I mean? But because it was just a graze, but still, when you're in the 8th grade, 13 years old, I wasn't even 13. I was 12. See, because I was born in August, bro.
Right. Man, that's crazy.
So I was in the 8th grade when I was 12.
Uh-huh.
I was, I think, the third youngest kid in my graduating class at Albuquerque High. So that shit just, freaked me the hell out, bro. Like, I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to go to school. You know what I mean? Like, that shit,
that
kind of messes with you,
definitely.
And I didn't want to tell my uncles and my cousins, because then they're going to come over here and they're going to get bucked with these fools. But I still got to live over here.
Yeah.
The next street over. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what am I going to have my mom and dad move? You know what I'm saying? Well, my mom was kind of staying with us. She wasn't really in the picture, but, it was just a rough situation,
Damn. How long did it take for you to realize that you had been struck by a bullet? Like,
well, we're running, and then when I went through the fence, I had a pair of white, they used to call them Big Ben. No.
Bobos?
It wasn't no. It wasn't Ben Davis. It was like BD Counties.
BD Counties, man.
BD Counties, yeah. And I had a white pair, and they're all creased up. And then
Bobos, I'm just playing up.
And the homie looks at my leg, and he's like, "Hey, fool, you're all full of blood. Did you scratch yourself on the fence?" And I'm like, "Nah." And then I look, and there's like a singe mark on the pants with the blood on my left leg. You know what I mean? And then I pull up my leg, and he's like, "Oh shit." You know what I'm saying? So they could have bucked me if, I was just lucky I didn't get bucked, but it just grazed me. And then for sure, like, because then it started burning, like, because older homies would tell me, like, yeah, when you get bucked full, it burns, like something just singed through you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
like,
a hot rock.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But luckily, my homeboy's grandma was, like, super calming and loving and, like, you know what I mean? Honestly, bro, she even, like...
She took care of the situation.
Yeah, she took care of the situation. I don't know what pain pills she gave me, but she's like, here, take a couple of these and then drink this. And she gave me a beer, you know what I mean? And she handled it. And I never told my parents because...
Really?
No, well, my dad is low, fully. He's probably go kill these motherfuckers. And, here's the thing. Just because you grew up like that doesn't mean you want to go do that to other people. Like, I know some fools are going to be like, oh, you ride on those fools. And I'm like... Bro, you're just making it bigger than it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the same time, I knew that wasn't my lane, even though I respect the lane, and I don't go out of my way to hurt people or anything. But it was just a weird situation. But yeah, middle school was rough, dog.
Man.
Yeah.
So then, from middle school, you go to
Rio Grande, and then all those fools, older brothers are there.
Right.
So here we go.
Because that's how it works.
That's how it goes, yeah. But I had to go do community service because even if you get in a fight with the schools here, the school district, whatever, even if you get jumped or whatever, you still go to court and you're still considered because you fought back an aggressor. So I had to do a month of community service with those fools.
Were you given like a probation officer?
Yes, yes. I had a probation officer, and it was awkward as fuck because during the meeting, my mom at the time, she worked at General Mills, and my mom and dad, I guess, were kind of trying to make things work. But she had been out of my life since I was 8. And then she came back into the scene, and my mom, the probation officer was like, oh, I see your mom works at General Mills. You must eat a lot of cereal. And my dad straight up told her, we ain't here for that shit. Let's get this through. And I was like, damn, you're just making it worse, fool. You know what I mean? Like, end the small talk. But she was trying to be compassionate. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
But she ended up being my probation officer. But I had to do a month, 2 hours a day for a month of community service.
What'd you do? Wait,
I had to go work.
Service?
I had to go work at this place called Cornucopia on Isleta, and it was like a home for elderly people with mental disabilities.
Okay.
And I had to go help clean their garden and do their weeds and throw their trash and mop and stuff like that.
Yeah. Did anybody that was there talk to you? Like,
oh no, it was awkward.
Young man, why are you here?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying I had to do it along with the fools that we got down with.
Oh, okay.
And so some of my other homeboys got it worse because one of my homeboy, Busy Greg, R.I.P.G., he stabbed one of those fools during that thing in middle school. You know what I mean? Because there was so many of them. Like, what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah.
Some fools just don't get like down like that. That dude actually, he ended up getting killed the next year by some dude at a party. Yeah. And he was a good cat, man. I still have a picture of him being him in middle school, all laced up, and he has a strap and I have a big old knife. You know what I mean? I look back at that kind of shit and I'm like, damn, fool, what are we doing? You know? But that was just the environment. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of low. But next year we went to Rio Grande. It was even worse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And principal called me in the office. He's like, you should transfer.
Wow. The principal said this to you.
Yeah, because at that point we moved from the South Valley. My mom and dad were still trying to make it work, so we moved up to the Heights, bro.
Okay.
So I was taking the bus from Indian School, what do they call it? Hoffmantown? Like Indian School, Pennsylvania?
Yep. Hoffmantown, yeah.
But the earliest bus to get me all the way down to Rio Grande, I would have to leave the house at 5:15, walking, and then catch 3 buses to get to Rio. Because I was tired of transferring schools, you know?
Yeah.
And I went there, and it just got heavy, bro. Because I remember my first day of school, I had another pair of beady counties and a pair of filas. First day of school, you know, all laced up, all creased up. And they sent me home because I was wearing gang attire.
Yeah.
See, fila, forever I love Albuquerque.
Okay.
But
I've never heard that before, man. Wow.
But the dudes from Atrisco, because that's a South Valley gang, forever love Atrisco. You know what I mean? So they thought I was from Atrisco, and I wasn't going to tell them, like, I'm not or I am. You learn to just shut the fuck up. You don't open your mouth. The less you say, the better, you know? So they sent me home. They sent a grip of fools home. They were like, we were getting off the bus.
And they're already watching you.
Yeah,
like,
and the gang, and the gang unit was there.
Where the fuck are you wearing that for?
Dude, there's like 13 gang unit cops, and they're like, boom, go over here, go over here, like separating us.
To the right,
yeah,
to the
exactly.
left. You come here. You can go. You're cool. Yeah.
And they're like, you need to go home. And I was like, well, we don't have a phone on right now because at the time, we were hurting at the time, and we didn't even have a phone. They're like, all right, cool, well, we're going to release you, and you need to leave campus. So I walked home, which is like 3 miles away. But it was no big deal, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I went to Allsup's and got an Allsup's burrito, dog.
Why not?
Home. Yeah, hell yeah. I was like, hell yeah. And, you know, it was just a trip, bro. So we moved all the way from there after that because my dad was like, man, I'm sick of all this, you know. People had been breaking into our car, my dad's work truck and stuff. So we moved up to the Heights, and my grandmother got real sick, and she lived with us, and I hated the Heights. I hated it. Like, it was just a foreign environment to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We lived there, and then my dad finally just told me, he's like, man, you know, it's taking you almost 2.5 hours to get to school on the bus. He's like, let's just transfer you. And I was like, all right, cool. So what we did is I have a tia who lives in Martinez Town.
And you used the address? We
used the address so I could go back to Albuquerque, which was more comforting to me because that's where my homeboys were. You know what I mean?
Word.
So I went back to Albuquerque High. And
was that kind of like at first, because you said you hated transferring schools all the time, but when you found out you were going back to Albuquerque High, was it kind of like a...
Yeah.
Was it... Yeah. Were you relaxed? Were you more like... Or
it was still nerve-wracking because I know there was other fools in that school that had mad beef with my neighborhood.
Okay.
But at that time is when I really fell in love with graffiti more deep than just tagging. And I started popping.
Okay, yeah. You know? I was going to ask you about that too, but yeah, go ahead.
In the 8th grade, like, is when I went to the school dance in the 8th grade, and I saw these fools dancing, and I was like, man, these fools are whack. Because I had seen my uncles, you know what I mean, kill it, you know, because they're old school B-boys. They're old school B-boys who turn into G's.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I grew up around that stuff. It was normal, you know what I mean? And I was like, man, these fools are whack. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, that summer that I was going to community service, I asked my uncle to show me what's up, and he showed me the basics. He showed me how to wave. He showed me how to tick. He showed me how to tut. He showed me how to glide. You know what I mean? Like, that's all these dance styles, right? Popping styles. He showed me how to do graffiti when I was in the 6th grade. Like, he was a very influential person in my life, you know? Word. And so that summer, I would practice every day when I went home. Because all I had at home was, like, music. A couple of cassette tapes. Yeah. And pretty much that's it, and drawing, you know what I mean, and doing graffiti.
So what year is this, or how old are you?
So I'm 35. This was my 8th grade going into 9th.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
And I had met this DJ, and that influenced me too, you know what I'm saying? And, like, I didn't have access to DJing and stuff, but I just knew that's the direction I wanted to go in, you know? And So that summer I practiced all summer, and one of my homies from the neighborhood said, "Yeah, there's b-boys at Albuquerque High."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was like, "For real?" And he's like, "Yeah, there's."
Okay.
Well, he didn't call them b-boys because at the time, we're still learning the terminology. He's like, "Yeah, there's breakdancers and pop lockers." And I was like, "Sick!" I was all excited. Not only was I excited to be around the homeboys that are gonna back me up, but to be around that element, because that's what I was like. I was, I just had this drive for it. I was tired of like going through all the drama,
Yeah.
So I go to Burque, and first thing, like my first day of school, I catch beef with this fool from the sticks, and all my homeboys, because at this time it was already right the day after Halloween that I transferred over from Rio to Albuquerque High.
Okay.
And all my homeboys, they either got kicked out from my neighborhood or they just went to school, so their parents were buying school clothes, dog.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they just quit going, and they were hustling on the street and stuff. And but luckily I had all the homies from M-Town there and from Wells, and so I kicked it with them for a little bit and caught beef with this fool, and it got kind of crazy. And my cousin, my godfather's daughter, her boyfriend went there, and he was hella cool with me.
Yeah.
So luckily, he was there to kind of like, give me skin or whatever. And then I realized, I was like, man, I'm tired of this. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of like natural to me to react that way, but I wanted something different, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I knew there was b-boys there. So I started kicking with what happened was I met this dude Eduardo at Harrison, and then he introduced me to this dude named Larry, and that's how I really got into DJing.
Okay.
Larry had transferred over from Valley High School, and his dad had been a DJ in the 80s.
Okay.
And a producer. And
that's what's up.
And
probably a sickle vinyl collection.
Dude, it was crazy. Thousands. I mean, like 10 times what I got. So it was probably like my third day, and he had been there like 2 days too. So it was kind of like, hey, let's be friends, bro. You know what I mean?
Can we just become best friends?
Yeah. And at the time, I had been practicing dancing and graffiti and everything, and he saw my backpack with the tags on it and stuff, and he's like, oh man, you tag, dog? You know what I mean? He's a half black, half Chicano dude, He's like, oh man, you tag, dog? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh man, I dance, bro. And I was like, so do I, fool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we just started kicking it,
That's, yeah, man.
And then he's like, oh man, I've been DJing since I was 9. And I was like, what? And he's like, actually earlier than that, but he's like, technically I didn't get the understanding of it till he was 9,
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's cool. I went to his house. Bro, it was on, bro. It was cracking. I just found love with it. I mean, they had turntables, they had speakers, they had amps, they had mixers, they had beat machines.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And this fool, he wasn't all G'd up. He was just a cool cat, right?
Yeah.
So it was cool. It was a blessing. You know what I'm saying? For me, anyways.
You found a community.
Yep.
That had the same interest, and not only a community, but you had a place, like a meeting place.
Yeah, for sure.
Not just learn how to DJ, but also, you kept up the dancing and you kept up the art.
And the graffiti.
And yeah, man, that's important, bro. Like, I feel like as kids, just like hearing your story, kids need to have these outlets. And I think Albuquerque, one thing the city could do a better job with is allowing or creating more of these places where, Warehouse 508, I think they've done a good job, but the classes cost money. And I understand that you need, we live in a capitalist system and you need money to pay the rent. You need money to keep the lights on. But I think more of these places need to be created so that kids, I want to learn to, I want to be a B-boy. I want to be a B-girl. I want to learn to write. I want to learn how to press shirts. And I think the more opportunity that these kids, just hearing your story, that's dope. Like, you met this community, but you found your own way, pretty much.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, hey, do you want to go here and learn this? You kind of just fell in your lap, the interest.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I went on a rant there, man. I'm sorry.
No,
but
that's all gravy, bro.
But yeah, it's dope that you found that environment. Like, you found that connection with the hip hop community, you know what I mean? But so yeah, my bad.
Oh no, it's all gravy, bro.
But So you meet up with homie.
I meet up with homie, and he actually lives in Wells Park.
Okay.
And I have cousins that are from Vaudeville Wells Park.
Uh-huh.
And they're cool with our neighborhood. They're cool with M-Town. So I was fine kicking it over there. And it just made me feel so comfortable. It was like the perfect alignment. That's why I say, like, Jehovah bless me. Like, put me in that line, you know? And what ended up happening is when we were living in the Heights, we moved to Martinez Town. In the house, we lived in a hotel because we had to move because my grandmother died. We only had that house because it was made for like wheelchair access, kind of, you know. And she was going through dialysis and stuff, you know, and they cut off her leg and stuff. So we're living up there. So then when she passed away, we moved to Martinez Town, and we only stayed there for like a month, and then we moved to Wells Park. And I ended up living right on the corner across the street from the community center, which is like a blessing, bro.
Okay.
Because that community center, dog, it became my like second home compared to Barelas. You see, in Martinez Town, they don't have a community center. Mm-hmm. So they're expected to go to Wells Park.
Yeah.
And so it was perfect. I ended up living in Wells, and I was already cool with some fools from Wells and my cousins, obviously. Well, two cousins, one that passed away and then one that's still around. And I met all these fools from Wells, these, you know, dudes my age. I'll tell you a story, fool. I met this fool my freshman year. He was from Wells, and he's still one of my good homies. And he had the Wu-Tang emblem, but instead of it saying Wu-Tang in the middle, it was a necklace. It said Wells.
Oh, okay.
It was, you know what I mean? So they would always wear Wu-Tang shirts and stuff. You know?
Okay.
So right away, we clicked right away. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I lived right down the street from him.
Okay.
So, you know, and he's a graffiti writer too, and an MC. Mm-hmm. So, like, it was like everything was just lining up. I live around the corner from this dude who's a graffiti writer, gangbanger from Wells, you know, MC, and right around the corner from this DJ who's a dancer. You know what I'm saying? So that community center, man, we would go in there and practice. At Albuquerque, I started like getting fools into breaking.
Yeah.
And then there was like a rival crew, which is even deeper because, man, there's so many politics in there. But a lot of those fools are still my homeboys, and they're still very active in the community, you know? And it was real deep because, I mean, I think that saved a lot of us. I mean, we all took the wrong path at a certain point, but if it wasn't for that, I think we would have done it sooner, you know?
Yeah.
You know, but it was dope. We used to throw b-boy jams when we were like 14 years old.
Yeah.
With dances, we, you know, like, and again, like you said, the city doesn't have enough options for these kids besides 508.
Yeah.
When we were kids, bro, we had Summerfest. We'd go battle and break dance downtown. Cops wouldn't stress us. We'd go to Dance. It's a team thing. They wouldn't stress us. We'd go to Roller West or Escape Palace. They wouldn't stress us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had outlets. And then when we didn't have those outlets is when we started going to raves and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But, you know, it helped build the hip-hop community, you know, because it's kind of hard here. There's a lot of rivalry between everybody. Like, there's this, like, frenemy mentality. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, we're friends, but we're really enemies. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of that. And I'm guilty of it, too, bro. I ain't going to act like no santo, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I'm guilty of that, too, bro.
There have been times where, like, I've had to sit down, and me and the other homies have talked about it. Like, yo, man, we need to start picking each other up, you know what I mean? And stop, you know? Yeah. But, you know, we also came up at a time, like, I remember being in the freestyle circle, like, you suck, bro. This needs work. Don't come back until, you know. And I think that made me a better, you know, a writer, a better MC. Yeah. And
well, and I
the tough love, man.
And that's perfect that you said that, because on that subject, with you saying that there's not enough outlets, I think if you give them too many outlets that are too structured in the art and the craft, it waters down the intensity.
Okay.
Because then they get so much of it right away. This generation, it's like a microwave, and then it's like an oven. See, we grew up in the oven, bro, of hip hop. Mm-hmm. They're growing up in the microwave, dog.
Wow, man, I've never heard that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's real instant gratification, bro. And then they get burnt out, and they get instant gratification. Then they don't want to try no more. Yeah. Now you have those ones that did get structured and pushed, because there's dope kids that are from Burke pushing the line right now, and I love it. Like graffiti, b-boys, whatever, MCs. Like I could name drop a grip, you know, but there's not as many. When we were kids, bro, there was like 15 crews. like 15, 30 deep, bro.
Yeah.
B-boys, poppers, graffiti writers, MCs, DJs. You know, now there's not really a crew, bro. It's like all us older dudes holding on to the crews that we pushed and throwing down the rare few kids that we mentor down with those dance crews, those DJ crews, those graffiti crews, those MC crews. The only crews that are really kind of run deep as far as like youngsters run is like graffiti.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Do you think the internet kind of ruined?
It did, but it's it did, but it's a blessing.
It is.
I'll be the first one to tell you. Like, bro, I remember seeing one of the homeboys from our crew learning how to do windmills, or they call them continuous backspins. Mm-hmm. And for a month, he had it was probably the circumference of like a half of a pizza, a huge bruise that was almost black on the side of his right hip, because that's where he was throwing off. But he didn't give up.
No.
Because we didn't have instructional videos.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these fools had to, like, pay the cost to be the boss. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And these kids now, they have somebody to be like, put your hand right here, place it under your left, whatever side, their dominant side of their hand is, lean on it, kick your right leg up or your left leg, swing it and rotate and fall on your shoulder. That's why they call shoulder rolls or windmills. Not on your hip.
Yeah.
There was nobody to show us that shit.
You kind of had to, all right, I'm going to try and mimic that movement.
Yeah. And the older dudes, the older crews, they were sick already. Mm-hmm. They were dope. And we looked up to them, but we hated them. Mm-hmm. Because they gave us tough love, bro. Yeah. And then we also grew up in a barrio environment, so we were very, like, aggressive, but they were too. Mm-hmm. So it was awkward.
Yeah.
Graffiti. There's so many politics in hip hop.
Oh, of course.
Like, I mean, and then when you involve the street culture, like the hood culture, it's just like a melting pot of like creativity, animosity. But I mean, it had its purpose, I guess, because, a lot of us are still pretty relevant, I guess, to this point, Mm-hmm. But it was dope, Wells was dope. I love all the neighborhood, those 3 neighborhoods that I lived in, That's why I always push A7 102.
Okay.
Even though there's some rival neighborhoods that have the same, zip code, but, downtown Albuquerque is my home. When I don't feel good, I just drive downtown Albuquerque. Especially in the summer, in the evening, when it cools off and the trees are all, green and everything. Yeah. There's nothing like that for me, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That just gets me redirected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Get your mind right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, Wells was a blessing, man. I mean, that's where we started our first real b-boy crew, and it was just dope. You know what I mean? And we just pushed. We met so many people at Albuquerque High who had the same interests. It was a trip. Like, I don't think kids have the same interest in artistic stuff like that right now. Yeah. Well, maybe not here, because I don't see it. Because it would be bigger if they did. Yeah. They're more into like partying and I ain't gonna. Who am I gonna be to judge somebody and doing drugs and all this other stuff? And I'm like, don't get me wrong, we weren't angels, bro. Yeah. I mean, because there was a lot of hood culture.
I understand what you're saying, but I just want to clarify. I don't think there are programs for the kids. I had a student 2 years ago, and I actually still keep in touch with her. She's an actor. She's an actress. And she does plays for I think it's Cardboard Playhouse. But yeah, these kids, they pick a show, they rehearse, they what is it called? You got to go try out
interpretation or
you got to try out for the part. She told me, you got to audition. You got to go and audition. You got to go and audition. You got to study the line. They rehearse, and these shows, like, her mom always invites me. She always buys me a ticket. And these shows are incredible. And like, you look on the stage and, there's 17-year-olds on there all the way down to kindergartners, and there's, like I said, Warehouse 508. Those are 2 right off the top of the head. And I'm sure there's more. Yeah. But I feel like the city of Albuquerque, the government should step in and be like, hey, let's put a music studio in a school. Yeah. Let's put, and I even think, APS redid Monzano's gym to give a dance space for the dance teams. Oh, yeah. Dope. Yeah. And I think a gym, I don't want to like misquote anything, but I think there's like a bigger gymnastic area. You know what I mean? And that's awesome.
Dope. Yeah.
But that's only like one school. I need to do the research, man. I think the next podcast, I'm gonna here are the programs. You know what I mean? But I think we could be doing more.
Yeah,
the city, the government. Yeah,
I agree. And not just that, like things on the weekends for kids. Like I mentioned all those things. There was always something for us to do where it wasn't so isolated. Like now you go to Summerfest, it's in like in a certain section of town.
Yeah.
If you live by Manzano and it's up in Taylor Ranch, how are you going to get there if you don't have a whip?
Yeah. Well, I've also seen, like, there's the West Side Summerfest.
Yeah.
There's the Heights Summerfest.
Yeah, no, I know.
There's the Nob Hill Summerfest.
Yeah.
And it's like, pick.
It used to all be in Civic Plaza, which is easily accessible through at least public transportation.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's forcing everybody to be unified. Because if you want to go to it, whatever section of town you're in, you're going to travel downtown.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I'm not going to go all the way over there to the west side if I live over here on Paseo, you know what I mean? Or I'm not going to go to the South Valley, you know what I mean? Like downtown is the central place. That's why it's Civic Plaza, you know what I mean? Like you're supposed to go downtown. It used to be dope, bro. And then Dance too, I mean, it was cool, bro. And it was corny, but it was cool.
But people went to it.
Yeah, and there was Mad Honeys, and there was dancing, you know what I mean?
I remember they used to have, like, rap groups with the hip hop crews, which who was there? I remember Crucial Conflict.
Yeah.
Did Bone? I think Bone showed up.
I don't remember that one, but yeah,
man,
that's
we'll
crazy.
We have to look on the internet.
Yeah,
bro.
no, I know. It's funny because I'll see those old videos on YouTube, like little clicks, and I see fools I know right now, and I'm like, oh snap, homie!
They had it. Remember, it was on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
You could watch it.
Yeah,
and I bet they did that. Oh, the parents would be like, it's going to be on TV.
Yeah, my dance crew won it like 3 times. Like,
oh, really?
The dance competition, and they'd win like a TV or a ghetto not like a ghetto, but an old school boombox or a Walkman. It was dope. We used to go and tear it up. That's where I met a lot of all the other b-boys was there.
Yeah,
there, Skate Palace downtown. You know what I mean? At the mall. We were just hungry. We wanted something different, I guess. And we're just tired of the norm, And we used to get mad clowned on, though, for b-boying and popping. Yeah. Like, a lot of people liked it, but a lot of people were like, why do you guys do that? You know what I mean? Like, hating, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, well, sorry, not everybody wants to play football, bro. You know what I'm saying? Or not everybody wants to, act like they're all good because they have money. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing, bro. Hip-hop don't cost money. Yeah. I mean, it does, but it really doesn't. And that's what's the beauty about it. That's why it came into what it was supposed to be, because it came from New York where they didn't have nothing, and they got artistic with the little that they had. Yeah. So for us, like Poor Cats, it was like a blessing, bro. You know what I mean? We made it part of us, and we became unique. Yeah. And it's hilarious because now that we're older, those same people who used to clown on us when we were young cats, they bring their kids to our classes, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm just like, it's ironic. I'm like, okay, bro, you used to talk down on us, and now you like, So.
Yeah, people talk negative about things that they don't understand, or
for sure.
Maybe they wanted to do it, but they didn't have the drive. I have friends now like who did music and they stopped. Yeah. I can't ever see myself stopping to make beats and producing and recording and, making projects. I can't ever see myself stopping. And they're just like, bro, like, how did you do it? And I was like, well, I love this, bro. Like, I love doing this. I can't stop. And they regret, man, I should have never stopped, And it's like, bro, like, you got a good job. You're an accountant or whatever. Like, go buy some equipment. Go,
Yeah.
Pay for some studio time. Like, get what you want out into the world, man. And, there's a lot of people who say that we live in this amazing time, with the internet. And, it's like here we are in my kitchen, bro, doing a podcast.
Yeah, for sure. No, and see, that's where I struggle. And like, at first I was real bitter about it because I was like, man, these kids don't have their own flavor. Yeah. They just bite everybody else's. When back in the day, you would get called out for that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we're always like, they advance so fast, bro. I mean, I've seen kids do amazing things, like as far as like b-boy power moves or popping, graffiti, anything, rhyming and all that. But it's because they have the access. But then at the same time, I can't be a grumpy old man and be like, get off my lawn, kid. That's like what it's saying. You know what I'm saying? You know, like they have the accessibility to it, and I can't be mad at them for it. But I do think in one way, it doesn't let it be as big as it used to be, because once they get the euphoria, it's like a relationship. Yeah. You're with the chick for 2 months, and it's all, oh, I'm so in love with her. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden,
the chemicals in your brain
exactly,
change.
Yeah, and then you're just like, it's all right. You know, you start like acting different, and then you give up and you move on to the next chick. You know, but if you really love the person, you put in the effort, then you make it work, right? That's the same thing with, I think, this generation, where they get the euphoria from it, the convenience of it, and then once it's burnt off, they just give up.
Yeah.
Whereas we were like, we didn't have that. We had to build and 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 build, and then that's who we became. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we're involved in the hip hop community. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what's up, man.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess that broke it down for me, anyways. I don't know. Hopefully everybody else can comprehend that.
So DJing, like, what was do you remember your first gig? Backyard?
Nah.
House party?
It wasn't really.
Throw your hands in the air.
I didn't really get to do a first gig. I had to pay my dues.
Yeah.
The homeboy Larry, his dad was like, these needles right here, I mean, I'm referring to DJ needles, or they call them cartridges, you know, or stylists. And I was like, he's like, these needles right here, they're $72. So you ain't going to start on the turntables. You start on the CD players. But these CD players ain't accurate. At that time, they were very like, you had to manipulate them to mix. So he made us learn on those first, you know, homies. And then once he could see he would mix, we could mix and blend and learn the music and how to move the crowd, how to read the crowd, how to manipulate the crowd with the music. That's when he started letting us use the turntables. Mixing with turntables is a lot different from having cue points on your laptop and your controller. You know, it's like, it's you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you actually have to go through the records, flip through them, pick the record, put the record up. You know what I mean? It's not just like drag, drop, boom, 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 burning. You know, drag and drop, burn, burn, burn. You know, and drop it. You know. And
so okay, I guess I should have asked, how long were you on the CD player?
Probably about 4 months, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That seems rather quick to me, actually. I was thinking you were going to say like 10 months, 11 months. Yeah.
And
4 months, man.
And then he got a cheap pair of needles, and he's like, these break really easy. If you break them, that's the only pair I'm getting. So he did train us right. Yeah. You know what I mean? And bro, when we're at that age, bro, we would have gigs that we would throw, and we would hand out probably about 4,000 flyers just on our own, us and our crew. Yeah. And we would throw these teen dances, and there would be like 1,000 kids there, yo.
Yeah. Where were these?
They were all over. They were like, his dad would set it, Larry, his dad is also named Larry. He would set it up at the Sunshine, and we used to sell at the Sunshine. And we're all, you know, kids, bro. And then at the same time, we're all B-boys too. So we you know, Albuquerque, they used to communicate socially in person. Mm-hmm. Now they don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? No. So it was a little different. So we'd have 1,000 kids there. You know what I mean? And we'd throw these big events, and we'd sell it out. And we all had a turn to DJ if you earned your dues. And that's how I met Justin. You know, just incredible. You know, I met him at a talent show at Manzano, but you know, it was just way different. You know, it was, you know, you had to pay your dues, bro. Mm-hmm. But the first gig, I think the first gig I did was somebody hired this dude to do a Christmas party, like at a hotel or something. And Larry's like, I need to use the restroom. You know how to mix, fool? Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, cool. So I did. I dropped like 4 songs. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm pretty sure that was the first time.
You carried the crates and everything.
Yeah.
You did the.
Oh no! At that time, we had turntables and a CD player, because that was when the record companies were starting to stop pressing vinyl. Okay. You know what I mean? So little by little. So we had to have CD players, especially for like regional music, you know, like New Mexican Spanish, salsa, all that stuff, you know. Okay. So like You know, the record game was really important to us, but
Yeah, it's crazy. Like all that equipment, man.
yeah, no.
On top of the CDs, on top. Did you ever do tapes? I've seen DJs with tapes.
I've had a DJ with the tape before.
Yeah.
I mean, you really can't mix with it. I mean, you can, but I think Those Are Fools got experimental. For us, it was like they weren't set up to do that, so we didn't approach it that way. We just dropped the song. We'd fade out one song, and then we only have the song on tape. Boom. I mean, you got to do what the fuck you got to do.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. Like, I remember helping homies with the crates, and I'm like, man, you got a lot of records, bro. Like, we need to consolidate. You know, we need to start picking and choosing. This is a pain in the ass. And they were always like, no, dog. Like,
no, yeah.
We don't know how this party's gonna go. Yep. And I was, you're right. I'm just being negative because I'm helping you carry these things.
Yeah, no. We'd show up to a gig with 12 crates of records. 12 or 13 crates of records, CD players, big ass speakers, 15-inch MTX speakers, an amplifier, mixer, turntables, and I'm not even exaggerating you, bro, and a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
Because that's all we had. We made it work. The truck lid would be open. Mm-hmm. Dude, like on House Party.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like exactly like that, bro.
Did you have a dolly?
At the time, I did not have a dolly.
Man.
But I learned right when and
That's
got
cool.
one of those foldable ones later.
Yeah, man, all that equipment, and now like you see a DJ, it's like, hey man, what's up? What are you doing? I'm gonna go DJ. Got my laptop.
Yep. And he has 25,000 songs in his hand,
ready to go.
Yeah, exactly,
and then it's definitely made it easier for the DJs.
Oh,
but it's also, I think, created
a
lot of, like you were saying earlier, people who have, I'm going to be a DJ.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Q 85 BPM.
Well, it's like they have this thing called a sync button where it syncs the beats for you, and all you got to do is push play,
Boom.
bro. And it's just like, what the fuck? It took me a long-ass time to really grasp the concept of mixing. But at the same time, I'm one of those dudes, I'm not a scratch DJ. I'm not a turntablist. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could cut. I could chop, you know what I mean? I could do a couple drops.
Yeah.
But my focus wasn't scratching. My focus was digging.
Yeah.
Going out and finding these records.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What were the record stores that were alive and well in Albuquerque at that time?
To be honest, it was Crazy Cat. There used to please, what was that place called on San Mateo?
They closed, right?
Yeah, they closed, yeah.
I know what you're talking about,
Yeah, it was across from the Giant.
Yeah.
Record Roundup.
Record Roundup, yep.
Yeah, so it was Crazy Cat, Record Roundup. When we got older, Mecca opened. Then We Buy.
We Buy Music, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's it, man.
Wasn't
Charlie's.
Charlie's,
yeah. But see, we didn't really go to those places as much. We go to We Buy because he had the dollar bins.
Okay.
So as a DJ, your needles are deeper, so you could play records that are a little bit scratched and they're still gonna play.
Okay.
Not like a regular turntable.
Yeah.
So we would buy dollar bin records, even though they were messed up, because a lot of vinyl collectors, if it's not clean, they won't pick it up. You know. That and then, gosh, I think that's it, bro. But see, we didn't dig that way. We would go there, but for us, it was the flea market. And that was when the flea market was cracking. Now it's garbage. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was also thrift stores, yard sales.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where you're going to find that real rare shit.
Yeah.
Or the shit that you've been looking for, and you know it's going to be $45 at the record store, and you get it for $1. Mm-hmm. You know?
Did you ever order anything, like from magazines or?
Never, nothing. I never had. It wasn't till way later that I even got into anything like that. Like,
okay.
I mean, it was funny because in high school, the end of my high school, my homeboy, not even the end of high school, I was already graduated. DJ Saliva, he had a computer. I never had a computer, so I'd be like, "Hey, fool, I want a pair of shoes, but I can't find them in my size here." So he would order them for me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or he would order parts for my turntable or my stylists, my needles, whatever.
Yeah.
He always helped me out with that, man.
That's what's up, dude.
No, that's my G right there.
Cool. When did it hit? When was somebody like, "Hey guys," or it might have been you, "Hey guys, guess what? We don't have to bring vinyl to the party anymore." Because I have this box right here.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna be a grumpy old man about that. When I first saw that, I was pissed because the first DJ I saw use it was a turntablist, and his niche was scratching and cutting and beat juggling and doing all these routines, right? Mm-hmm. But he could never rock a whole party because he didn't have the records. Because his focus was on learning the craft of scratching and all that shit. You know? Okay. See, our niche was that we'd go out and hunt. Mm-hmm. But then we had two DJs in our crew that also were dope at battling. Yeah. But they also were hunters for records. We called ourselves diggers, or we go digging. Yeah, digging for gold, you know. And then all of a sudden, these turntablist DJs, once they get access to the computer, then they start moving in on our gigs. Yeah, because now they have access to all the music that we spun. Yeah, which before they didn't. They couldn't spin more than 30 minutes because they had 3 crates of records, bro. Yeah, you know.
And you guys.
Yeah. You know,
record store Saturday. Yeah, let's go.
Dude, record store every day.
You go here. Did you ever share vinyl?
We had to. I mean, I remember I had one of the only copies within our crew of In the Club by 50 Cent. Because they only got 5 copies, bro. And I would rent it out to people. Oh, okay. When they had a gig and I didn't have a gig. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, yeah, give me $20, you can use it. Because if a song is popping, you had to have it, bro.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
You know, so... Like, if you weren't there the first day or you didn't have a hookup with the dude at the record store, mm-hmm. you know, which I was lucky because Ken would give me I would pick a stack of records and he would tell me when they're coming in mm-hmm. and he would hold them for me. Okay. Till I got paid. Yeah. And he'd be like, you label it Omega, Omega, Omega. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if I wouldn't have had that kind of backup, you know what I mean? I would have been in a bad position. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But other fools had other record stores where they could do that, you know? Yeah. Everybody had their little niche, you know what I'm saying? But I think I was one of the last ones. I think I was like the most bitter, grumpy man.
Held on.
Yeah, to use a laptop.
Like, here comes Omega. I would call him the vinyl.
Yeah, no, I'd call them secretary DJs, bro, because I'm like, what do you do? You're typing? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I wasn't trying to be an asshole, but I was like, motherfucker, you know, like, that's not DJing, you know? But now that I'm older, I see the benefits of it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when you're young, bro, you think you know everything, G. And I'm still learning, you know? Uh-huh. You know, growing older is a learning process. So, yeah, it was probably... First person I saw, I think, was this dude named Kiddo. And this was in, like, I think 2003, 2004. I could be wrong. It might be like 2006, but I think it was like 2003, 2004. He was DJing at this club, and he was using a laptop, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Mm-hmm. I was like, he's like, oh, it's this program from Newmark. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember what it was called, but gradually everybody started going to that, and other programs came out, and and I was like, dude, we struggled to get our equipment already. I was like, I can't fucking afford a laptop. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like... much less the program and, you know, everything, the sound card and everything, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was just like, I can't do that. So I was against it, bro. I think it wasn't until 2010 that I tried it the first time. Yeah. No, probably longer. No, way longer. Like 2013, I think, yeah. And I actually bought it, and I didn't use it for 2 years. Yeah. Because I was scared to, because I was so used to, because at that time I had gotten CD turntables and I had my regular turntable, so I'd use both. I'd go do a wedding, bro. Yeah. And I would use both. Yeah. You know what I mean? Word. I'd have to sit there for hours and hours and catalog music and burn them on CDs and then write them down and put them in a CD book and organize them. Everything that the laptop you could do it in a whim, it would take me hours to do. Yeah. So finally I realized, I was like, man, this shit's, it's stressful, bro. DJing is stressful, bro. You have to plan it out. It's not like you just walking into a place and put on this playlist. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's not how it works. You know what I mean? You got to be prepared to...
It's an art form.
Yeah, you got to maneuver, you know? Yeah. You know, you got to swerve around the situation's potholes, you know? So it was a trip, you know? But I will be honest, I'm the most untechnical savvy, you know, I always ask you guys for help. I'm like, hey, how do you do this on your laptop? How do you do that? Yeah. Like, I don't really get down with technology like that. I'm like, back in the day, I made a shirt, and instead of logical, it said analogical, and the bottom of the tail end of the A was RCA cords.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Because I was against it, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and even now, I have to ask my homeboys for help all the time. I'm like, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you change this setting? How do you do that setting?
Yeah.
You know, because I don't get on the laptop and do that. You know what I mean? I'm more about the music. You know what I'm saying? I had a DJ homeboy, and he's like, bro, you're the first DJ I've seen in a long time that doesn't look at the screen while he's mixing. You still do it the way we did on turntables.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, that shit don't work for me. I said, I do it by ear. Like, I see the BPMs, but I don't look at because there's like this wavelength on the program that shows you the song lining up to make sure it's mixed.
Snare.
Yeah, exactly.
Snare, yeah.
But for me, that doesn't do, that's not what I need. I need to use my ears, bro.
Yeah.
And my emotion, you know? So it's a whole different ball game now. And DJing's so technical now, bro. Like, I see these younger dudes, and they kill it, bro, with the controller. One of the little homies, he's a good dude. He has almost the same controller as me. He's like, oh, it has this effect. Oh, check this out. He's like, do you use this? Do you use that? And I was like, no. You know what I'm saying? I use the jog wheel, you know, like a turntable, and I use the 1 or 2 cue points and just to drop in the music and mix it in the pitch fader, you know? And sometimes I'll use the filters, but I don't even, you know, that's one thing I got to grow on too, bro. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I'm a grumpy old man, bro. I need to open my mind more and be more open about that stuff, you know?
Word up.
Yeah.
Definitely help. I mean, even nowadays, like, I myself, I've done shows, and I've always had, like, a DJ, you know what I mean? But now if somebody can't DJ for me, bring the USB stick or my own laptop, just play the beats like that, you know what I mean? And it's helpful in those situations. It's definitely better to have a DJ, in my opinion, as an MC.
Yeah.
But, all this technology, bro. Like, I've seen people play their set lists off of iPads.
That's crazy.
Like, I remember when we were using mini disc players.
No, yeah, dude. That was a huge thing for us, too, bro. Being able to record, you know, like mixtapes on a mini disc, you know, like, and I worked so hard to get a mini disc. And by the time I got a mini disc, boom, MP3 players came out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, damn it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
and I had homies, man, they opened up for Method Man in, where was it? Was that Saarbrücken? I forget where. Yeah, it was Saarbrücken. They opened up for Method Man, and big deal, bro, to get that show. I mean, it was packed. And they had a mini disc player with the beats on it. The intro, the beat starts, the crowd's going crazy, dope beat, boom, it shuts off.
oh, snap.
The something happened. Unplugged it, do this, you know, turn it off, turn it back on. Start it again. Beat starts. Oh, sorry for the technical, difficulty, whatever. Beats going. Boom, shuts off again. Well, and it's like 5,000 people in the crowd. They had to, bro. They had to. The mini disc, the disc was broke. It was what do they call it? It was flawed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, something happened to it. So they had instrumentals, like other artist instrumentals on another mini disc. They had to do that, bro.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, no. So you saw the other night when the computer crashed.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. You know, if you rely on technology a little bit too much,
yeah, man.
You know, like you're gonna run into some issues. You know what I'm saying? And that's embarrassing when everybody's relying to be entertained by you, and the equipment you invest in messes up. Yeah, and you've spent thousands of dollars on it. You know what I mean? And it just puts you in a situation to be like, it puts you in jeopardy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because everybody with a laptop now thinks they're a fucking DJ. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. All right, cool.
Yeah.
But they also undercut you. They also try to take gigs from you. And it's convenient now to be like, it's almost like they're car salesmen or some shit selling music. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's like if you can't rely on your equipment, you could get cut, and you got to take it serious. You know what I'm saying? Especially if the person owns the establishment you're DJing at, or you take it serious and it's part of your livelihood.
Yeah.
And right now, for me that's a big deal, but I'm just blessed that I have good homeboys who are willing to help me out. You know what I mean?
But yeah, man, having that help is always like really important. But I did want to ask you, like, can you talk a little bit about the experience, like living in Varelas and Martinez Town?
You know, growing up downtown is pretty like, it's not very a big area, you know? So it was like, the experience there was pretty similar to the other neighborhoods that I love. But obviously my loyalties to the B. But it was different then, like way different. Like, you know, my grandparents owned a house there, and then they sold it, and then we moved to M-Town. And then I moved to Wells when I was in high school, you know, so, but I was always back and forth, you know. It was way different. Like, it was very aggressive, but it was very fun. Like, we used to have BB gun wars in the bosque. We put on hoodies, take our dad's work goggles.
Yeah.
And nobody complained. If you got, you know, you got injured, you got injured. Ooh. And my younger homeboys, who ended up being in our B-boy crew, our breakdancing crew, they used to go, they built a whole BMX, like, little ramp thing out there, like several ramps, like a little run. You know, and like, they also, their dad was a carpenter, and he's just a tradesman, and he, not just a tradesman, but he built them a vert ramp in their backyard. Yeah. And these fools are like straight up like first generation American, you know what I mean? And their dad was that kind of dude, you know? And like, there was just a lot of cool experiences, you know what I mean? And like, for me, I don't push it just as a, you know, like if somebody asks me where I'm from, I tell them where I'm from. But it's a beautiful place to grow up. It was very difficult to grow up in and out of there. I spent the majority of my mature years in M-Town and Wells, but the B is always my home. Yeah. You know, Barelas is always going to be my home. I moved back there when I moved out of my dad's house for the first time on my own, and it was rough, bro. You know, I started kicking with the homies from the hood, and things didn't go so good. You know, cops showed up. You know, but it's a historical, beautiful neighborhood. It's just, you know, I don't think people understand what you got to do to go through, what you got to go through to live in a neighborhood like that at that time. You know, it's changed a lot now. I mean, but there's still a lot of stuff going around all over Albuquerque right now, you know? Yeah. That's what we call it, Albucrazy. But it was dope. I mean, you walk to Cambios and you go buy a bag of chips, you know?
When did the McDonald's and the Sonic and all that shit arrive?
So what happened is El Cambio and La Mexicana, it caught on fire, and that's where the McDonald's is now. Okay. It burned down, and then they opened that McDonald's when the Hispanic Cultural Center opened.
When did the Cultural Center get built?
You gotta understand, bro, I've drank a lot of beer in my life, so I'm trying to remember all this stuff.
You know what, man? Like, I got the internet.
Yeah, no. I think it was 99 or 2000. It must have been because I DJ'd for Cheech Marin, you know, Cheech and Chong Cheech Marin. I DJ'd his art show there. Okay. I got to meet. Really? Probably should have said this because he told me not to say it at the time. I think he was like on like the new Miami Vice or Nash Bridges or whatever. Nash Bridges, yeah. And I smoked weed with him in that Kiva structure. Oh yeah. You know, and he was just like, "But don't tell nobody, bro." I smoked weed with him. Yo, Mike 360 and the promoter of the show who hired me, and then they hired me to do They actually gave me the gig to do it in San Diego, and in El Paso. So I went down to El Paso and we did it. We stayed in this fancy ass room. Like, we were young, bro. We weren't even 21 yet. And because of that, you know, and I didn't get to go to San Diego because I'd never been on a plane. And my parents had never been on a plane. So they were like, "No, you can't go." And that was the one time my dad didn't give me the freedom to do what the hell I wanted to do. And I respected it. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's like, "You go to El Paso, but you're not going to fly to San Diego." You know, he was, you know, I don't have no family out there in San Diego, you know? So I did the 2 shows, me and DJ Episode. I did the mixtape because they asked for like an audition tape, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I did the mixtape and I did all kinds of like old school oldies and Latin music. And they're like, boom, you know, they picked me. And that was shout outs to Mike 360 that Man, Mike 360, bro, he introduced us to a lot of stuff, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I had never left the state if it wasn't for that fool.
Yeah.
To go to another state and go to a B-boy jam. I met
That's an ill story, man.
I've met people from Rocksteady. I've met everybody. Like, it kind of like bridged off that. Meeting Mike 360 in high school really really exposed me to stuff that I would have probably never been exposed to.
Yeah.
And if I would have, I would have had to gone through some more stuff to do that, you know, like not good stuff, you know, I would have had to been hustling or whatever. But Mike really did help us out. And I know, you know, not everybody sees eye to eye with Mike, but shout out to my G Mike. You know, he really did help out this community in a major way. I mean, I remember, and you know, I was there, so I could say this. I remember when Immortal Technique wasn't Immortal Technique, and he performed here in Albuquerque with 2Mix and Cholo Lancico.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And Mike brought them out. You know? And that was when he was working with Dead Prez and stuff. You know?
Wow, man.
I mean, I've met mad people I've gotten to open up for 2Mix and stuff like that. And maybe to some people that's not like a huge deal, but back then, it was a big deal, bro.
Yeah,
it was a big deal, you know? Like, I got to open up for Azel, you know, at the Student Union building with Mike when he was, when that first album, All I Know, you know? Because remember I was telling you the story about the monos, the sound effects? That's how I learned how to beatbox.
Oh, okay.
So Mike would do like the vocal percussions on the flute, and I'd be
Dope.
or like,
dude, I didn't know. Wait, I was thinking, I didn't know you beatbox, man.
No, man.
This is new. Yo, go ahead.
So Mike would take me with him wherever he had a performance, and I'd be like almost the drummer with my mouth. You know what I mean? Using my vocal percussions, and he'd use his flute in his poetry. And then he'd have a DJ scratching in the back, so it'd be Episode or Saliva. But when we're younger, it was like older DJs, like Shakedown. And shout out to Shakedown. Shakedown was one of the first DJs who showed me love, bro. Shakedown and DJ3.
Word.
Sly Steve. You know, they're the ones who schooled me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because, you know, back in those days, fools just didn't put you on, bro.
Yeah.
They didn't school you in a good way. But those cats right there showed me mad.
Yeah.
You know, Steve showed me how to manipulate the crowd. Larry's dad, the first homeboy I told you when we moved to Wells, showed me how to, you know, move the crowd. And then Shakedown just gave me like, I don't know, like almost just like tough love. Like, nah, bro, this is, you know, be creative, you know. Even though, because Shakedown's a turntablist. I'm not.
Yeah.
But, you know, he still showed me mad love, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he still does, you know what I'm saying? So it was dope, you know, like I got to open up for a couple cool people and be on stage several times. I was on there used to be a public access channel that I was on several times, and you know, the community used to be so strong. Now it's just so convenient. I think it's like diluted in I don't know, it's just so different, you know. Back in the day, everybody was hungry. Even though there was a lot of animosity between the crews, there was still like a hunger. Now it's just like, it's convenient. You know? You know.
Word
guess
up,
grumpy old man, I guess.
But Cheech, man.
Yeah, no, he was cool as hell, bro.
That's a cool story, man.
Yeah, no, he was cool as hell. Wish I could have gone to the San Diego one, but you know, it is what it is. Shit, bro, I bought a G ride with that money.
Yeah.
Because they paid us. That was the first time I ever got paid over $600 for a gig. Yeah. You know, and I went and bought a Regal. Threw it on Dayton's and found out it was a stolen title.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then I sold it to some fools from another neighborhood, and they didn't care. Dad, the hustle. I swear I saw it 2 weeks later, painted with juice.
Oh, man.
Hitting switches on bridge.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Could have been me.
Yeah.
Nah, you know.
But I'm looking here and it says it opened in 2000.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, like 99, 2000.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, that's around the time the Hispanic Cultural Center opened and stuff.
Yeah. So that's when the McDonald's and the Sonic.
Yeah. But I think they kind of did it cool in a way because, you know, corporate America is going to do what corporate America does, bro. But if you go, at the time, I haven't been in there in years, but you'd go in there and they had historical pictures of Barelas and stuff that I learned
In the
and I
McDonald's?
was in the McDonald's, bro. You know, like the Barelas baseball team from the 1920s.
Okay.
You know, pictures of the community, you know what I'm saying? Like in those times, like the historical relevance of it. So, and they made it look Adobe. They made it look like an Adobe structure, you know? So that was cool. Now it is what it is. I don't care. Everybody eats McDonald's. I don't care what anybody says, bro.
I don't eat McDonald's, man.
Right,
I drink the coffee, though.
Okay, dog. Hey, homie. But you know what I'm saying? Like, when you in a rush, you know, people can do what they're going to do, bro.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? But, but I try to keep it local, you know, like as much as I can, especially within my community. There's a lot of spots in Barelas that people don't know about.
Yeah.
You know, like, the original Stuffies was in Barelas. Mr. C's Teas was in Barelas. You know, originally. You know what I'm saying? La Mexicana, dude, that restaurant is banging, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just not the coffee house in Modelo.
Yeah.
You know, there's other spots.
I like Juanita's.
Yeah.
Is it Juanita's?
Dude, Juanita's, unfortunately,
Juanita,
of course. Yeah, hell yeah. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there used to be this, right at the corner across from Appliance World, from where the La Mexicana is now, I used to play it was kind of like first buffet, but it was so famous, like all older people talk about it. It was called Royal Fork, bro. And it was a buffet, and everybody would go drink out the night before and then go eat at Royal Fork from every other neighborhood, because it was like a all-you-can-eat buffet, and there'd be all crudo, you know?
Okay.
And I remember being like run down forever, and even the Forkstein's still there. But I remember my cousin doing the dopest Barelas tag on that wall, and it ran for like 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, they didn't buff it. And it was in Old English, but it was amazing. Mm-hmm. It said Barelas, you know, across it. And I was just like, you know, those memories that you grow up with, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember the AMP, like this bar, it was notorious for bad things happening.
Is that the one near the bridge?
No, the AMP is where the graffiti wall is in front of the train depot. Okay. You know, the train, the rail yards.
Okay.
It's like a big old slab of concrete now, but it used to be a bar.
Okay.
I remember, like, you know, like dropping off my grandma there to go dancing, because my grandma used to like to dance and stuff, you know. But a lot of hood shit happened there. You know what I'm saying? I remember all the other little stores in there, and like I said, even though we lived in M-Town, riding from M-Town to Wells, then back to Barelas to go get all the free lunches and throwing them in your backpack, you know what I mean? And like going and go swim at Rio Grande, the outdoor pool. Behind the zoo. I remember staying at my auntie's house in the middle of the night, hearing the lion roar and the elephants. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is a rough place to live. When I got older, one of my second jobs was I worked for the city of Albuquerque, and I was a recreation leader. And a lot of those kids, they just reminded of us when we're young. Mm-hmm. So I got real close with them, and I used to talk crap because I worked at the school rec center, and across the street was Barelas Community Center, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the same department, but 2 divisions. Mm-hmm. So I'd always put our kids against their kids playing kickball. But their kids were way hooder than ours, because ours you had to pay for it, and them they didn't have to pay for it. So they were like aggressive. Oh, man. And I used to have to like be like, you better handle this. You know, you better put it in, bro. You know? But it was cool, man. You know, I love that neighborhood, bro. Like I said, I just drive through there, and you know, I'd be there every summer getting in trouble and, you know, hanging out with my cousin, you know, doing males, you know what I'm saying? Mm. But I'd go really there to hang out with my uncle. Okay. And my mom and dad were separated, so my mom used to live there too with my auntie behind Arrow's Food Market. So I'd go there to go see my mom and just check on my little sister, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, you know, it was a different time for sure, I'll say that. But I'm grateful for my mom and dad because they exposed me to music. I'm grateful, and that's why I love old school music. And when I say old school, I mean like old school disco funk, and, you know, like Parliament, all that stuff because of my mom. And then more like, you know, like rock because of my dad. And then New Mexico music and Mexican music, you know, like corridos or rancheras, New Mexico cumbias, Mexicano cumbias, you know, Colombian cumbias. Because I was exposed to that through all of them, and I try to utilize that when I DJ, you know. And then all the electro funk and the hip hop, well, rap. I don't really call it hip hop. I call it rap, rhythm and poetry. My uncle from the hood, my OG, you know, he showed me how to pop. He showed me how to survive on the streets. He showed me what to do and not to do when you get into a situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that was very influential. Like I had a very good upbringing, but it was dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
But that neighborhood created all that.
Yeah.
You know, I lived in 29 different places now it's 34, but at that, you know, it's been crazy. I'm 35, but I've lived in 34 different homes in my life.
Wow, man.
You know, and the majority of them were downtown.
Yeah.
You know, and several of them were in Barelas, and my family's from there, so that's what I call home.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a beautiful place to grow up in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's just not bad. You know, there's so much beauty in it. That's why people hold on to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I know mad people in that community who are amazing and do things, you know what I'm saying, good for the community.
Yeah.
You know, but we just, you know, I experienced a lot of the bad, you know, going there and like living there, you know what I'm saying? But it's probably the most important community to me in this city. Well, obviously, you know, I have an attachment to it, but it's an amazing place, bro.
Yeah.
You just got to find the amazing in it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why a lot of the gentrification is going on there, just like anywhere.
How do you feel about, like, I wanted to ask you, but I didn't want to ask you.
No, it's
I didn't
good.
want to, yeah.
You know what? I guess that's what we call progress in modern society, bro, is gentrification, because, you know, there's culture vultures. Some people don't have their own culture. They don't know about it. And they're attracted to this place for a certain reason. And it's close to downtown and the party scene. And, you know, like, they're trying to build, like, this new community out of it, and I'm like, can I really hate on it, bro? Because I was growing up there, and like with my cousins and everything, I lived on Iron and 4th Street, I lived on 9th Street, I lived on 8th Street, I lived on 4th and Pacific, you know what I'm saying? Like, mad spots, because we moved all over when I was a kid, you know? And, you know, can I really be mad? You know, because they ain't going to the playground now. And I mean, okay, I take that back. At the time, we used to have to rake the playground to make sure there was no needles in the playground. Yeah. You know, stuff like that.
That's rough, yeah.
You know? And same thing across street at the center. They would have to do that when we worked for the city. You know what I'm saying? Just to make sure the kids are safe, you know?
Yeah.
But then it got good. And then, you know, now with the opioid epidemic, like it's gotten bad again everywhere, not just there.
Yeah.
But back in the days, outsiders didn't come to our neighborhood. They only came to score dope or to go to the zoo, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and now that it's like calmed down and the hood ain't thumping like it used to, like that, like G style, like now it's cool that they're there. It makes it safer for the younger generation. But at the same time, the property taxes and everything going up, it kind of forces people, or even it gives them the idea, well, if you sell your house, you're going to make this much money. And they think about it and they're like, yeah, I could go buy this big old fancy house on the west side where there's no trees and no culture.
Yeah.
You know, all these new communities, you know?
Yeah.
And it sucks because you lose that sense of community. And I give props to the people who still hold those homes there and have still continued to be there and like continue the traditions. You know, they still do La Posada, you know, like for Christmas, you know?
Yeah.
Who does that here anymore?
Yeah.
Nobody, dog.
Nobody does.
Bro, just in Barelas, homie. Maybe they do it somewhere else, but I ain't heard of it.
And we went there, when was it, last year? The Barelas
Fiestas,
yeah.
Yeah. That was dope, you know?
It was dope.
And I didn't see a lot of people I grew up with or that I knew, you know? And I was just like, where are these fools at? It was all new people, you know, for the most part. I mean, there was people there, but not anybody in my generation anyways.
Yeah.
Maybe like one or two people, but I wasn't really close to them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I got to give a shout out to my homeboy Shy Boy. You know, He owns a small business there, and he holds it down for the hood. Cool dude, real cool. Owns a barbershop there. And he had worked at Martin's for years, cutting hair, you know, and he's a cool cat. And he's doing a lot for the community, though. He's got a fighting gym in his barbershop.
Yeah.
And it's dope, you know. It's dope to see somebody who's so positive, who went through so much, who's so positive, do something for that neighborhood and the community in general. Yeah. It's not just us. Anybody's welcome there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a cool cat. You know, and it's dope. And then all the people who used to work at the center just showed you mad love. Like I have older homeboys who used to be my rec leaders.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? who would hook me up with that extra free lunch, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then we had mad b-boy jams in there, breakdancing battles. We had several floor projections, several small b-boy jams in the center, and they weren't even supposed to let us do it.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have security. My uncles were the security.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The director of the community center, when I went to go ask him, he's like, well, I don't know, mijo, you know, there's a lot of possibility for stuff to go wrong. You know, it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I was like, I talked to my uncle. He went to go talk to him, and he was like, your uncle says it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to make sure nothing goes down.
Yeah.
You had a couple homeboys there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And that's the only reason. We couldn't afford $3,000 for security.
Yeah.
To throw a b-boy jam. You know, with 500 people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So my uncle made it possible to make sure like nobody mess around.
Yeah.
No cars are gonna get broken into.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna punk these outsiders.
Uh-huh.
All these visitors from out of state, all these other break dancing crews. You know what I'm saying? That's how it went down.
Yeah.
And if you wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't have had a venue to establish ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because our b-boy jam, we had a lot of respect in the b-boy community in the Southwest and the West.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would come from out of state, and I would never want any hood homies to like trip on somebody.
Yeah.
You know, I had a really good homeboy come from out of state, and their local symbol is our rivals here's symbol.
Okay.
And he was laced up in it, and I said, bro, you can't wear that.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm going to take you to the store, going to buy you a new outfit.
Yeah.
Took him to the store because I didn't want him to catch beef. He's my
Yeah.
homeboy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's a dope dancer. He came as one of the judges. He flew in all the way from Cali.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I had to tell him, I said, the politics out here are different.
Yeah.
You know, you can't rock that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to change it up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This dude has 126,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, on Facebook, everything, bro. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's so established, you know. I'm like, and he's showing us mad love, and he came to do it for free, bro.
Yeah.
Because that's how the hip hop community is. When you meet somebody who's loyal, you know, they're going to come help you out, bro.
Yeah.
You know? And
That's what's up, man.
you know, but it's a cool community, man. It's dope. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Wish I could afford to buy a house there, but at the same time, I don't like the politics because there's still some homeboys that are there, and you know, once they find out where you live, bro, they be trying to kick it too much. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I'm good, bro.
Oh man.
You know? But it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
What's the borders?
All right, to me, I'll tell you the hood borders in our mentality. So technically, it's from the one-ways to Bridge, from the train tracks to 12th. That'd be North Barelas.
Yeah.
And then South Barelas is where Modelo is. So that'd be from Bridge almost all the way to Rio Bravo.
Okay.
But they demolitioned that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Before I was even born, I think.
Okay.
And my dad would tell me stories because my dad almost got killed by some guys from South Barelas. They caught him at the community because they had beef.
Yeah.
Yeah, in those days.
Yeah.
They caught him at the handball courts and they beat his ass, and this older veterano stopped them.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't exist no more. Only that one house in front of the Hispanic Cultural Center.
Yeah.
That's the last South Barelas house.
Okay.
So it would stop at Bridge. But to us, like G-wise, or like my uncle always said, he's like, everything south of Central to Bridge, everything from the train tracks to 14th is ours.
Wow.
Even parts of what they consider, what is it called?
The country club area?
No, not just that. There's another little area right there. I can't remember, G.
Yeah.
But, you know, so that's what I was told. You know what I
Okay.
mean? But, you know, by my older homies, you know, and what was crazy is they're all G's, but they all used to be dope B-boys and graffiti writers and everything.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like that. That's why I always say hip hop culture encounters like hood culture like that, you know, because it is hood, you know? You know, so I don't know. It was dope, bro. It was dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Still miss those, everything. Going to Stuffy's or...
We got to go check out the Red Ball.
Yeah.
The Red Ball Cafe, man.
Oh, I'm going to be honest with you, bro.
Okay.
I ain't never even ate there, dog. You know, but I'm down.
Well, it's clearly there, but I always thought it was closed.
Yeah.
I think it was closed, and now it's open again.
Yeah.
So we should definitely go check it out.
Because people ask me, they're like, "Oh, I love Barelas Coffee House." I'm like, I haven't ate there since I was like 12.
Yeah.
Because growing up there, most of us, I mean, some people would eat there, but a lot of us would just eat at Modelo because it was cheaper and the amount of food you get is more.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Barelas isn't good, bro, because people love it. It's obviously it's good. That's why it's
Guilty,
still
man. I haven't been there in about a month, but I go.
Yeah. No, that's like cool, bro. Yeah, tear it up.
You know what? I've been in there, and the mayor's been in there.
Yeah.
And like his cronies, not this mayor,
the former mayor.
Former mayor, yeah. And he's in there, and his cronies are in there, and they're talking, politics, and I'm just like, I don't want to.
Yeah, see,
I don't want to be around them. That's
exactly.
where Obama went when he came.
Yeah, no, I know, and that's cool. That's dope, bro.
Definitely.
It's beautiful for the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But like for me, like my favorite is gonna be always Modelo.
Yeah,
because it was affordable for us. I mean, and it's been there for pretty soon. Here, it's almost gonna be 100 years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 1929 or 1932. I can't remember, but.
It's been there that long.
Dog, yeah. Like, my grandma was like, yeah, I used to come here when I was a teenager,
And didn't in Barelas, it's still there, the tortilla factory?
Yeah, La Mexicana is still there, but it's behind Appliance World on the one-way.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if they produce tortillas. I think they do because they have a warehouse down the street by Bazan Court in 4th. But I had cool-ass homies that worked there, too. My homeboy Reyes and Polo.
Yeah, April 1929.
Yeah.
Wow, it began in a 3-room home.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if something lasts that long, you got to tell me it ain't special,
man.
bro.
Oh, dude, I have a great story. It was Christmas Eve. No, yeah, it was Christmas Eve, and I had told my dad, like, hey, I'm gonna go down to Modelo's and I'm gonna get 2 dozen tamales.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, it's Christmas Eve, you better go. And I was like, because they're open, so they're going to be ready. So I called, and I said, hey, can you hold on to 2 dozen tamales for me? And they said, we don't do that on Christmas Eve.
Nope.
You have to come down here, and if we have some, then you'll get some. But we don't hold stuff on Christmas Eve. It's just too crazy.
Yeah. Dude, the line, there's like a line out the door sometimes, bro.
And so I went. And look, there were a lot of people in there, but they were still waiting for their food. So I come in. I'm like, hey, do you have 2 dozen red chili tamales? Yeah. Do you want them cold or hot? Cold. Okay. Goes back, brings them out to me. At the time, it was like $30, $35. It's a little more expensive now.
Yeah.
Get the tamales. I'm walking out the door. The person behind me says, oh, I want 2 dozen tamales too. And they're like, he took the last 2 dozen. Like, we're out. And you could just hear like really? And I ran to the car. Yeah. And then I was talking to my dad. He's like, dude, you could have probably made a profit.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
like,
you could have flipped them, dog, for sure, homie. Yeah, bro. Nah, it's just one of those things, you learn how to adapt in your environment. Like, even when I moved to the South Valley, like, I had my little holes in the wall. And, growing up, like, I never went to an Applebee's or any fancy restaurant until I was 19.
Yeah.
And Applebee's ain't fancy, bro.
No,
I'm saying, like, I did not grow, like, I'm not even shitting you. Like, I did not fucking go to anything like that. I had anxiety for it because I didn't grow up that way, you know? My DJ Saliva had to convince me. One of my bosses gave me a gift card, and he's like, oh, let's go eat there. And I'm like, no. He's like, come on, it's not that bad, bro. And I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't think I'm going to fit in. You know what I mean? They're going to stereotype me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't do it, bro. It took me like that long to go to something that wasn't just like a Chicano hole in the wall or something that I knew. Like in Martinez Town, we'd go to Pop and Taco. And then Taqueria Mexico when it first opened,
Oh, man, I love that place, man. Yeah.
And we'd go to Milton's, and the ladies knew me there. My dad would get out of work sometimes, like at 7 at night, and we'd go across the street to eat at St. Joe's, and the ladies knew I liked pizza, so they'd warm up pizza because it was only for lunch.
Oh, that's cool.
It was cool, bro. Growing up downtown, sometimes we'd go to not deep in the South Valley, we would go eat at Kathy's on Isleta, Like food, bro. Come on, bro. I'm a big dude, dog.
Man.
Homeboy.
I'm with you.
Music and food move my heart, bro.
I love. Okay. Barelas Coffee House, El Modelo. I think El Modelo has probably my favorite chicharrone burrito. New Mexico Beef Jerky Company.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what, man? I haven't been to Juanita's in a long time, but they have like weird hours. Mm-hmm. So I need to catch it like tomorrow. I don't have to go to work.
What I like.
So tomorrow would be it's a holiday, so they might not be. I don't know. I will have to go look. But Little Red Chili Hut. The
that was
hut.
my first job. Dog.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
Yeah, that was my first job. Shout out to the Quintanas. You know, it's not open no more, but I think they're gonna open a food truck or something. But yeah, Miss Quintana, she's a awesome person.
It closed.
Yeah, it closed because the building got like condemned or something. And the owners of that, my cousin is their daughter-in-law or former daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
So my cousin's ex-husband is a homeboy from Wells.
Yeah.
So they're all from Wells Park.
Okay.
But they lived in Sawhill, which is kind of ironic. You know what I'm saying? They used to live in Wells. But my first job, I remember, it was for the first Battle Lines, one of the biggest b-boy jams we've ever had here. And it was huge, bro. I mean, all these amazing b-boys from around the country flew in. Mm-hmm. And Ken and them threw it, you know, the homeboys. And I was at work. I didn't have money to get in. And Ken would have probably let me in free. But, you know, you don't take advantage of people like that. You know what I'm saying? You try to pay your dues. So I was at work, and I was like, I'm going to make, hopefully I make enough in tips so I could take the bus, go buy a T-shirt at Mr. C's Tees, and then go to the jam. You know what I mean? Because that's the kind of drive you have when you into a culture or something, you know, something that moves you. And Miss Quintana would always show me mad love. All right, mijo, what do you want to eat? Yeah. For your take-home meal. I want a Frito pie. Just hook it up, bro. Yeah. So, like, that's just a dope little establishment. You know, that's one of those stories, you know what I'm saying? Where, But they kind of had a beef with Little Red Hamburger Hut.
We were talking about that the other night, man. Yeah.
You know.
That's cool.
But no, man, downtown Albuquerque is dope, bro. I love downtown Albuquerque. I love part of the Southeast and the South Valley too. But you know, when you're attached to something, you're attached to something. You know. Yeah. It made me who I was. You know.
Yeah, man. Growing up, like with my parents working for the government, we moved around a lot, and you know, like I've told you, I was born here. Yeah. But there was really no specific area. Like I had family all over the place. Yeah. But yeah, man, like I don't really like it anymore. But when I was a kid, like Little Anita's was my thing because my aunt lived like right down the street from Little Anita's. Yeah, for sure, bro. So we would go there and like get all the soap. I think they had really good sopapillas.
Yo, dude, their sopapillas are dope. Oh yeah, for sure.
And then there's a little one. Where is it? The distribution center. It's University near the car rental place.
It's their distribution, but they serve food out of there.
They have food there. So when I worked at a school way on the Mesa, the charter school.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So I would stop.
By the studio.
Yeah, by Albuquerque Studios. I would stop at Little Anita's sometimes and get breakfast burrito.
Dog, hell yeah. What was I going to tell you? It makes me proud, bro, when I go out of state and I see something from home. You know, we go to Denver, there's a Little Anita's, there's a Twister's. Yeah. There's a Dion's. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And
I heard they have like a Lotta Burger in Tucson.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And in El Paso, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, where's your chain at over here, fool? You know what I'm saying? You know how we are. We get aggressive, bro. You know.
Well, we had the In-N-Out burger chat. I like it, man, but I'm still like, Lotta Burgers.
Too. Dude. Dog. For me, bro, you know, I don't know. It's good. Don't get me wrong. You know, to each their own. But, you know, it didn't amaze me. I mean, I was more comfortable with what we have. But I think that's like us. You know what I'm saying? Just like fools in Chico Town in El Paso, you know, they have Chico's Tacos. I don't think Chico's is the best. But I give it its props because that's like their city's representation of like a cool little small chain like ours. You know what I mean? You know, and same thing, like, you know, Burca's crazy, bro. We're very territorial. New Mexico in general, dog.
Yeah, we are.
You know, I remember some fool from Texas, like, Alsops is from Texas. I'm like, it has a Zia symbol on the fucking sign, dog. I was like, actually, I think it's from Roswell or Carlsbad or something. Okay. And then First Buffet, that's from New Mexico too. Yeah. You know, I mean, there's a bunch of establishments that made an influence, like, within the region, within Denver and everything. You know, so like, even if it's just, I know we're going on this food rant right now. Oh no, it's all good, man. Keep going, man. True. But bro, come on, homeboy. When somebody tries to steal your food culture, and you know, you're like, hey, come on, dog. That's all. You know what we have. We don't have a professional team. We don't have like all this crazy like infrastructure and all these amenities like amusement parks and all that shit, right? what we have is our culture, bro. And food has to do a lot with your culture, bro. And music has a lot to do with your culture.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when we were young, we'd go to B-boy jams out of state, we'd travel, and fools would be like, they'd think we're going to jump them during the battle. Like, they thought we were going to fight them, but that's just the battle inside of us, because that's the way New Mexico made us. We were very we're here to represent. We're not here to mess around. When we enter that dance circle, we're enemies.
Yeah.
When we leave that dance circle, we'll shake your hand and give you props, bro. Win or lose. You know, and it was like a way of us, like, being B-boys and DJs and graffiti writers, of just letting out the frustrations of everything we've been through, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just, we're unified. We're like, you're in this crew, I'm in this crew. You know, like, you take it serious.
Yeah.
You know? And I think it was that hood mentality of the gang culture we grew up around that unified us that way, because, man, most of the dudes from my B-boy crew, the younger ones, the second generation, they're DTB, downtown Albuquerque.
Okay.
We had a couple homeboys from the war zone that were in our crew, and they're killing it still. And they're already getting older. You know what I mean? All these cats are older. But, you know, I was kicking it with homeboys. I'm over here 19, 20 years old, and I have a little homeboy who's 13 rolling with me, because we're both B-boys and we're both from the same neighborhood, and we're going across the country to compete against somebody.
Nice.
And we're like, yeah, we in your face. You know what I mean? We're going to do this. We're going to rep New Mexico all the way, bro. Yeah. You know, we're going to put in work for the whole state. You know what I'm saying? And if anybody hates on it, we're going to prove you wrong. Yeah. You know? So it was dope, man. You know, and that all came from growing up in that environment, you know? And like music too, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember DJ saying, you know, like, man, where you guys find all these records? And I was just like, you don't find them, they find you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because there's records that I have not even found yet, and I'm just like, damn, when am I going to come across this copy? But then, like, when you helped me move out of my house, you saw how long it took to move all those records. So I was like, I don't need no more damn records, dog. Some people may, but I'm like, hell no, dude. It's dope. It's a dope thing, but it's sometimes
you get stressed when you move.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just like, damn.
But looking up Allsups, man, the person is from Texas. I guess they're a couple. They're married. Lonnie and Barbara Allsup grew up in the small town of Morton, Texas. High school sweethearts. They were married in 1950. He was in the Air Force, and he was discharged in Roswell.
Yeah, see, I thought it was from CTR.
In Roswell, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was from CTR. Shout out to CTR, Crazy Town Roswell, all my homeboys from Space Invaders crew, holding it down for the whole state. Yo, they got a dope popping crew, bro. Yeah. These fools go out and they smoke fools. Yeah. Like big city fools. These fools take their craft serious. Some of the best dancers I've ever seen, bro. I DJ'd a B-boy jam and popping jam, All Stars jam out there. It was the way Albuquerque used to be. Yeah. Like hungry. Wow. And the dudes from their crew, they really take the younger kids in the community under their wing and teach them the foundations of the dance, of popping, breaking, locking, ticking, waving, everything, whacking, you know, open styles, whatever, house dancing. They take it serious, bro. Yeah. And Santa Fe too, bro. Shout out to Ricky from Santa Fe, B-Boy Chingon. Even though there's a B-Boy Chingon in our crew too. You know what I'm saying? But dude, this dude's son is killing it, bro. Killing it. He went to New York and smoked mad fools, bro. Everybody was like, where you from? He's like, New Mexico. They're like, oh, you speak really good English. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then shout out to B-Boy Nightmare. He lives in Vegas now, but he's a youngster and, man, amazing. You know, people could find all these names on YouTube. Yeah. I mean, these young cats, like I said, when we were talking about the internet a while ago, the convenience of it sucks. But because it kind of takes out the effort in it. But then you have those one kids that just, those certain kids who just are amazing from it. Amazing from having that ability to look up something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, it's just, so it's hard because like, you know, it's like yin and yang, you know, balance out each other, you know, but there's a lot of dope talent from here, bro. A lot of dope MCs, bro. That kid Hondro, that song goes hard. It's not my style of music. It's not my style of rap, but you know, that goes hard, bro. Then you have fools like you and Wake and you know what I mean? Yeah. The OGs who, now we're OGs, bro. We're getting older. You know, we're already in our 30s, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's a lot of cats out here, dog, that are dope. You know what I'm saying? And cats that have moved away, you know, and it's just a different generation, I guess. But growing up here, man, is it's so rough, so tough out here, baby.
Yeah, it's the Wild West.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but it's good because it builds character and it builds flavor, and more importantly, character and flavor, bro. Mm-hmm. You can be the ballest motherfucker and have the dopest car or whatever, or the dopest G-Ride or whatever, but if you don't have personality, flavor, and talent, what are you really, bro? Yeah. You're just a square. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. You know?
Yeah, man.
So, like, you know, everybody's got to stay in their lane, but I just think some people were meant to be different artistically, and it just so happens that New Mexico is so artistic that, you know, sometimes we do it aggressively, sometimes we do it passively, but it balances each other out.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. That's what's up, man. So let me ask you, you know, it's the Red and Green Report. What chili do you move closer to? You red person, green person?
Dog. All right. So let's break down chili, bro.
Okay.
So red was eaten when the crop was already getting old. Mm-hmm. So green was eaten when the crop was fresh. Mm-hmm. And they didn't have freezers in the old days.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, the way I look at chili is, of course, I'm going to pick what the hell I want.
Yeah.
Because it's convenient now. But culturally, for me, I look at it the way our ancestors would have had to done it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You enjoy this during this time of year. You enjoy this during that time of year.
Deep, man.
So that's where the concept of Christmas comes from. Because Christmas is a time of celebration. Mm-hmm. And you use the best things that you have, which to us is so important to the whole culture. You know, it's just mixed. Yeah. We're mixed. We're mestizo. Mm-hmm. We're mestizo, dog. We're Chicano. We're native. We're Spanish. We're whatever. Basque. You know what I mean? Castilian. Whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Pueblo. You know, Apache. Whatever. You know. I think that's the blessings of that. The chili, bro, is that it unifies all of us because all people here enjoy it. Well, I would hope so, anyways. If they don't, you know, kick
the
it.
homie Soy, who I did 2 projects with him. You know Soy?
Yeah,
Soy,
for sure. Yeah, of course, yeah.
He has this line, and he says, you know, in New Mexico, our yin and yang is red or green.
Damn, that's sick.
When
homie.
he said that line, I was like, bro.
Yeah.
How did I not think of that?
No, I know. It's like, you're like, damn it. I got to one up you, fool.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that is dope, bro. I love that. No, and I guess I would say that it depends on the item.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, like I always go Christmas with the breakfast burrito, like smothered.
Yeah.
I get both.
Yeah.
I know Golden Pride, they don't do red. They just
do green. Yeah.
Chicharrones, like, I love with red chili and beans.
See, and I love it with fucking green.
Yeah,
dog. You know what I mean? But don't get me wrong. If all there is red, I'm going to bang on it. You know? I'm
definitely.
Be like, hell yeah.
I think that's the cool thing about New Mexico. Like, 3 things that you're going to find in a New Mexican's refrigerator. Tortillas, or outside of the refrigerator. Tortillas.
Yeah.
Red and green chili.
Yeah, exactly.
And frijoles.
And potatoes.
Yeah.
And a couple cans of spam.
Wait, you got to keep going with the list.
And a couple cans of spam, homie. No, just in case. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But
I'm going to tell you a quote my dad told me when I was a kid. He's all, mijo. Because we'd eat it all the time, bro. Beans, potatoes, and chili, bro. All the time, bro. All the time. And, you know, when you get old, that's why now when I'm older, I cook different foods from other cultures because I may not afford to be able to go over there, but I could experience them through their food, you know? But I still love our food culture, you know?
Yeah.
But my dad always told me this. Chili to kill the germs, beans to blow them out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether it's red or green, bro.
Before.
Yeah, you know? And so it's
That's
like,
funny, man.
You know, I guess, honestly, I think one of my favorite foods, dog, has got to be red, bro.
Yeah.
Look at the neighborhood I grew up in.
Yeah. I love red chili, man. But then, like, I think of, like, green chili stew.
Yeah. No, yeah. Everything has its season.
When it comes to enchiladas, man, I love red chili enchiladas.
Yeah, see, if they're rolled, I like them red. But if they're flat or casserole, I like them green. But I'll still eat them red.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, like...
I'm going to start a podcast called The Fat Boy Report, Holmes. No, I'm just playing.
Let's do it, man. Do it. But that's the other thing. Like, people would ask me, like, what kind of enchilada sauce does your mom use? And I'm like,
what?
Enchilada sauce? What's that? There's a sauce? I'm like, you mean red chili, right? And they're like, no, enchilada sauce. And I've had enchiladas with enchiladas, and it's
it's just no,
it's
I know.
not good.
I
don't like it.
It's different. Yeah,
I don't like it. Yeah.
So I hear a certain comedian's podcast all the time religiously. You know who I'm referring to.
Yeah.
And they talk about making enchiladas with el pato, and I'm like, we use that for salsa, but I can't see anybody making enchiladas with that. I guess if you had to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I guess to each their own. You know?
That's what's
and
up, man.
I'll never call it sauce, bro. I hate when people call it sauce, dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's chile, homie. You know what I mean? Like, it is a sauce, and technically, but you can make it a roux.
Yeah.
You could just put it on something fresh. You could put it crushed, you know what I mean? So it's not technically a sauce, you know?
Yeah.
But, no, man, there's a lot of stuff to offer, you know? Like, if you've never been to a matanza, you need to go to a matanza.
Yeah.
You know, because that's the way people cooked for over 400 years. When, they call it what you want, but they came over from Europe, and then they introduced pork and beef and, those things, and they incorporated, whatever local ingredients they had here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you can go to a matanza, it's super dope. It's super fun.
Yeah. The first one I went to was when I went with you that one year.
That's dope, right?
Yeah, bro. Like, when I paid, I was like, all right, I got to pay for parking and entrance, but like, there's so many booths. Like, which one should I go to? I didn't know it was all you can eat. Yeah. And then, because they gave me this little portion of food, and I was like, well, how much is it? And they're like, it's all you can eat. Yeah. Oh, dope. So like, boom, like going to the different booths, just seeing everybody's take on
and that's the world's biggest matanza. Yeah. And then, but what's cool is when you go to like a family one. When I went with DJ Just Incredibles to his families just recently, like, you're involved, you're interacting with the people there. People are drinking, dancing, they're around the fire pit. They literally cut the whole animal in front of you, and you see what it takes to take a life of a animal to nourish your body and to celebrate. Yeah. It gives kids the understanding that this is what life is. You consume something, show appreciation for it. Don't just take it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It takes work. Yeah.
And the whole animal is used, right?
Yeah, the whole animal pretty much. Yeah. There's certain parts you can't use, but the majority of it.
Even like from the blood.
Yeah, exactly.
To the heart.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of things that people are like, oh, that's animal abuse and all that. And I'm like, all right, cool. That's the way you see it. But culturally, for me, this is what my people do. Yeah. So, if you judge me, judge me. It's all good. You know what I mean? But it's dope, man. There's a lot of dope traditions that we have here, and I love, but everything is evolved here. Any food, anyways, is evolved around Chile, and every celebration is evolved around music and family. Yeah. And a little bit of cerveza and lick too, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I know all too well.
Yeah,
man.
for sure. But no, it's a great place to grow up, and I love my home 100%. I've always pushed it. I think people would freak out when we'd go out of town to competitions, whether it was LA or Vegas. And I had homeboys, it sounds hood, but drove a stolen car all the way to Cincinnati to battle at Scribble Jam.
Man.
They didn't have money for a hotel, bro, so they slept in the car. Yeah. These are little homies from the neighborhood. Yeah. With another G homie who was a B-boy. And they didn't have money to take a shower, so they just jumped in the pool, dog. And just like jumped in and jumped out, dog. Yeah. Some hood ass stuff, but you just improvise, bro. They're young, they're youngsters, dude, and it was cool, bro. It was a big accomplishment to us because back in the day, that's when they still had VHSs. Yep. And they made the VHS battling, nice. And then one of the little homies made him a big old shirt with our crew name. Mr. C's tees with letters as big as him almost. Wow. Yeah. And you could see our crew name in the back. And other crews were like, we saw you on this video in Cincinnati. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. So back in the day, when I'm referring to YouTube, like, back in the day, it was a huge thing to do something like that for us. Bro, especially coming from Albuquerque, bro, because sometimes people don't even know exist. Oh, you're from Arizona? You're from Texas? I'm like, hell no.
I remember it was 97 or 98. And I was always reading the source, XXL. I think Rap Pages was ended. It was done. But a friend of mine came up to me. He's like, "You're from Albuquerque, right?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You got to buy the new source." And I remember it was an October issue. Tribe was on the cover, and they always did the small town.
Yeah.
And Albuquerque was showcased.
Yeah. Was that the one where they had Mike 360 doing head spins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they talked about the Desert Funk Mob.
Yep. Nick and all them.
Of course, the LA Underground.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, man, I had the copy somewhere. I have a bunch of copies because Ken, he has a bunch of copies.
Dope.
So he gave me.
I want one of those now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put him on the spot. Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember being like, finally, because I would always look at that section and be like, oh, maybe they're gonna mention Albuquerque or Santa Fe or Las Cruces, something.
Sure,
but it was always like Kansas City or Austin or Tucson or this, and then finally, bro, Albuquerque. I was
Yeah, no, that's dope. It's cool that you brought up Cruces because I'm actually from a Cruces crew. I'm from Together with Style, which is from a dope writer named Crayon, and he's out of San Francisco, and he's amazing. And he started a chapter in southern New Mexico and in El Paso. And me being a northerner, I think a lot of homies were like, dang. See, my crew went through like a breakup, but I'm from Together with Style as well. But my southern homeboys, they're dope, and you got to be careful because with the hood shit, you can't just be down with another city and be like, oh, I'm from this crew, because then they're going to assume that you, turning neck on you. Because if stuff goes down, I go to the pin, and I ain't even trying to, I ain't even ever been there. I ain't even trying to be there. But what I'm saying is like hip hop stuff gets intertwined with that. But shout out to my homeboys from Cruces, and shout out to the homies from Santa Fe. Everywhere, Gallup, there's dope B-boy crews in Gallup. There's dope B-boy crew from Santa Fe. There's dope B-boy crew from Cruces.
Yeah.
Dope popping and B-boy crew from Roswell. And it kind of sucks because right now Albuquerque is just so stagnant.
Yeah.
With the B-boying.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, graffiti, we press the line for sure. DJing and MCing, we press the line for sure. But right now, like, there's only a couple young cats here that maybe like a handful, like 10. And these little cities, they have more B-boys than us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's why I would try to teach dance courses with kids wherever I worked, volunteer or whatever, just to like try to re-spark. And there's several people like that, like Kenda Sean, Candyman. You know what I mean? There's several people like the Dancing Turtle or Rudy when he had his dance studio from UHF, Shane, all them. They're trying to inspire these kids to get them started. Not just for profit. Like when you were referring like, oh, well, they charged to go there?
Yeah.
See, we didn't get charged, but we had a bigger community, so that's what paid the fee.
Yeah.
Now there's not a huge fee, and we're adults, and we have to make a living. And for me, it wasn't about the money, because you don't really get paid nothing, bro. You probably use more money and gas than you do making over there sometimes, bro.
Man.
And
I know how it goes.
I just wish the dance community would expand more, and a lot of kids are into it on their own, but not b-boying. More popping and open styles. But I wish there was more b-boys and b-girls. Yeah, you know what I mean. And then it's just it's kind of hard for me to be from here and not see it the way it used to be. Yeah. You know what I mean? I guess I'm living in the past too much, but it is what it is, bro.
You should open your Omega Dance Studio.
Nah, dog.
Or Omega B-Boy.
No.
Yeah.
I don't. I'd have to find a down-ass homie to come teach the kids to B-boy all the time, and B-girl.
You should come through the classroom one day and show my kids some moves, man.
They'll be like, who is this gang member?
No,
just playing on me.
No, they're going to be like, yo, Mr. P, who is this dude? Because he's tall as shit.
What I used to love, bro, is where I would teach were the hood schools. I do that on purpose, bro. I mean, I had some little hood homies, like G's, bro. Like, I knew their dads, like some of the Lao that grew up down the street. The Laotians, and one of their kids was in my popping class, and he was one of my best students. And he was a very hyperactive kid because his dad, he lived that life, that G life, and he was one of my best students, man. He was so talented at dancing, and I was so proud of him, and it kind of helped level him out. And I saw, from a young age, when you teach somebody something that inspires them, it kind of levels them out,
Yeah.
So it really helped. And I had dope little students. But, you know, life, you get caught up in life and then you just kind of like, you know.
I tell my parents, the parents of some of my students, you know, they're like, they'll tell me, you know, they're bored. They don't want to do anything. And I'm like, adventures. You got to take your kids on adventures.
Yeah, man, for sure.
You got to take them to the mountain. You got to take them to the river. You got to take them to the library. You got to go, you got to let kids search out their interests. Because, you know, one day it's this, then the next day it's that. So, I mean, I think that's one of the most important things, too, is, you know, you got to get your kid out of the house.
But we're so disconnected. I think kids are really disconnected with doing stuff like that. Like, you know, a while ago we were referring to, like, going out on bike rides and on adventures.
Yeah.
You know, how many kids do that nowadays, bro? Yeah. On their own, though.
You know what's funny, man? On this street, these kids are outside all the time.
That's dope, bro.
And like they're playing catch, bro. They're riding their bikes. They had this like what is it? It's like you lay flat on it. It's like a board with wheels. And
that's
they
sick.
cruise and you know, they have Nerf gun wars, and I'm just like, man,
that's
that
dope.
Nerf gun war looks pretty fun.
That makes me happy, bro.
And that's what we used to do.
Well, I worked at the school down the street, so that's where I taught the last dance class I was at.
Oh, okay.
And I'm referring to the kid.
Yeah.
He lives around the corner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so this neighborhood is one of those neighborhoods where I think they don't have as many resources.
This is definitely
so they
a working
make fun.
class
they
neighborhood.
They make a good time out of it, you know?
And then even, you know, hey, guys, we're going on a field trip. And one of the first questions is, can we bring our phones?
Yeah, oh my God.
And I'm like, we want to take pictures. And it's like, no, you don't. Well, maybe, but I know what you're doing with those phones.
Yeah, exactly. You ain't even paying attention, fool. You're seeing how many likes you got.
Yeah.
Nah, you know, but it is true, man. It is a different time, and I just wish they could have experienced what we experienced in this city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exploring, bro. We used to take the city bus, bro. I used to get the summer fun bus pass.
Yeah.
For $20, dog. Not even 20. I think it was like 10, bro. And me and the homies would just ride the bus everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I had never been to the mall. And my homeboys were like, let's go to the mall. I'm like, dang, fool, that's where white people go. You know what I mean? You know, and I was like, all right. So we shop at the flea market, homie. I get all my clothes at the flea market or 99 discount or Terry's, you know?
Yeah, Terry's, bro.
Yeah, no.
Come to Terry's.
Yeah, exactly.
We got the shirts with the gorilla on the pocket.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Man.
Yeah. You know, so
I haven't thought about Terry's in a long time.
I remember my auntie, she moved away from Albuquerque in 89. They moved to Kenai, Alaska, which is an hour outside of Anchorage. And she came here for my grandma's funeral. And she, you know, the stuff up there is expensive. So we went to the flea market. She bought her son, because they used to be $5 for $20 bootleg Nike shirts and like the homie shirts.
Yeah.
And, like all these shirts, right? 5 for $20. And so she bought him like $100 worth of shirts.
Wow.
And her daughter and everything. And she was just like so happy. And I was like, that's how we shopped, you know?
Yeah.
So us going on the bus made me open my eyes to different places. That's how I learned all the street names, because we were isolated, bro. Well, I was isolated. Me and a couple of my homies, we would just stay in our region, our section. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And the farthest east we would go is like UNM. The farthest west we would go was Old Town. Like, because that's how we grew up. My parents were always working, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't even know the street names or anything, dog. You know, like I would go up to the Heights and I'd be like writing down the street names. I'm not exaggerating. All right, this street came first. This street came second, like San Mateo, San Pedro, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, you know, Wyoming, all these.
Eubank.
I had to do that.
Yeah.
I had to do that, dog, because we would never go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And then my grandma moved to the war zone, and that was a whole new experience.
Yeah.
Then my grandmother moved here to the Crest. Well, we call it the Crest, but it's really like the southeast section of the war zone where it kind of begins.
Yeah.
And I met all kinds of cool dudes here, you know what I mean? And that's when I started to fall really in love with Albuquerque, is because I'm crazy. No, you know what I mean? Like,
well, it was. I think I was telling Ken, like, yo, every time we go out, like, I always meet somebody new.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what's up, Omega? I'm like, oh, every time, bro. Like, last night was the night before was an example. The last time you were spinning at Canvas, you know, whenever we hang out, bro, I always seem to meet somebody new.
Yeah, that has to do a lot with moving and being involved in the scene, you know? So, and it's also Albuquerque, you know? Big city mentality, small city reality, you know? You know, when you're almost 6'6", you know, you're hard to forget. Sometimes, and I'm not bragging or nothing, bro, because sometimes it gets, you're like, dang, do I really want to talk to somebody right now?
Yeah.
You know, but I gotta love my people, you know,
Yeah.
and because they show me love, you know what I'm saying? Well,
That's
I hope
what's
they
up,
do,
man.
anyways. You know.
Yeah.
You know, I know I've done some stupid shit, and I've trespassed. Everybody's trespassed, so you know, if I have, my bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm still growing up, even though I'm 35. You know what I'm saying?
Man, yeah.
You know, but nah, man, Burke is it's a strange place, but it's a beautiful place, bro. And I love home, 100, bro. I can't be outside of the city for more than 2 or 3 days. I start getting like anxiety,
Yeah.
like bad. So because everything is just so different, and to some people they may seem like, oh, you're limiting yourself, and I'm like, it's not that I'm limiting myself. You got to understand what I've been through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I know we don't have all the time in the world, but it's, you know, it's hella deep, and I talked to you about this.
We have desert. I call it desert DNA, man.
Yeah, bro.
And I've had friends that have moved here because they, you know, they were in the military or for whatever reason, and they're just like, John, I don't like it here.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But like I love it here. Like,
Nah, man,
I get this idea, and a lot of them moved to Alamogordo because of the Air Force base.
Yeah. Ugh.
And they're like, John,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like living
hard.
on Mars. And I'm like, I understand, but like you need to like. So my mom's side of the family, a lot of them are from Silver City.
Okay.
So I spent a lot of time in Silver City. I love
Yeah.
Silver City. Like, it's the mountains, right? The range.
Yeah.
I
don't know what they're called, dog. I'm a
Is it the
northerner.
Black Range? It's the Black Range, bro. This is embarrassing. It's the
No, I know. I'm a northerner, so.
And then you know the kneeling nun near the copper mine.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a rock.
I've heard- yeah.
It looks like a kneeling nun.
Yeah.
And just like it's great down there. Like I love it down there. You know, Taos, Espanola. Like you got to
Yeah.
travel around the state. Just don't get stuck in the.
One of my favorite things is just talking to homies from other cities or other little towns or whatever, and telling them, where do you and your family eat all the time? But when I say that, I'm not like sit down dinner. I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
what's the hole in the wall you go to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm hitting up. Dude, and I'm guilty, bro, because I haven't really explored all of New Mexico that much. I know the culture, but, you know, I'm guilty of not exploring it enough, and that's something I need to adventure out on, you know?
Well, we should go. Yeah.
Yeah, go on a mish.
We need to go on a mission.
Yeah,
man.
we got to go on a mish. Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to think. Where haven't I been? You know what, man? I was in Roswell as a kid, but never as an adult. I'd love to drive down to Roswell.
I had never been there until the homies asked me to DJ a jam out there.
Okay.
And when I went, I was like, and I saw the community, I was like, dang, they hold it down, you know?
Yeah.
Same thing. I had never, you know, I had never been to Cruces till I went to go DJ a jam. I mean, I drove through there to go to El Paso. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like, again, you know, hip-hop unites people.
Yeah.
You know, like, I have homeboys in any city that I've gone to a battle with, I have a place to stay, bro.
Yeah.
If I really, you know, and I don't like to put people on the spot and be like, oh, dog, I'm going to be in your city, let me stay with you. You know? You know, but if I had to, I could.
But you have that
because of
camaraderie. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because of the community, you know? But even in New Mexico, like, I need to explore my own community, too. I'm mad guilty of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I have homeboys that are like, oh, we went to White Sands. I ain't never been to White Sands, bro.
Yeah.
Dog, I've never been to the Balloon Fiesta.
Yeah.
You know? Because I grew up here, so I just see them all over. I'm like, nah, we cool, dog.
It's like
you know?
You don't have to go to the Balloon
went to-
Fiesta to enjoy the Balloon Fiesta.
I went to the concert one time at night to go pick up on chicks when I was single back in the day, but I didn't go to the, you know what I mean?
I mean, you could see the balloons from anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And getting there is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's cool to go once. I think you need to go once.
Yeah.
But after that,
sure.
like, bro, watching the balloons anywhere else is just as fun.
Yeah.
You don't have to
kids,
pay for
though.
parking. Yeah. You don't have to deal with crowds. And
Yeah.
it's just like get on your roof and watch the balloon feed.
Yeah,
like
for
that's
sure.
how you should watch it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Or I like going to the mountain, going to the crest.
That's
and
dope.
watch-
yeah, I like that too. You know, I never even been on the tram, bro.
No?
Nah.
I was on the tram before they had the nice cars. I was
Yeah.
on it when it was just a bench.
Damn,
Yeah,
son.
man. Yeah.
Damn.
My dad took my brother and I, and
Yeah.
we went up. I was like, this is sketchy. I must have been second or third grade.
Damn.
I don't know about this. I had a pair of shades, bro, and I dropped them. And these hikers were below us, and they were like, we'll bring it up to you. And like an hour later,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It was a bench? I thought it's always been a boxcar.
Nope. It was a
That's
bench,
a
bro.
trip, dog.
Yeah.
That is a trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see? That's what I'm saying. You know, you don't know. Fools don't even know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's this one picture I wish I could find. It's a picture of my homeboy Lonely took it. It's a picture of all the dudes from my neighborhood, like 80 of them.
Yeah.
And they took it in front of Pat Hurley.
Okay.
You know how it overlooks the city?
Yeah.
On the west side?
Yeah.
And it's just all the homeboys, like, G'd up from the feet up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I wish I could get that picture, man, and post it, because it was before all the bullshit went down. You know what I mean? And, like, you know, everybody's ego got involved, you know, but those fools influenced me as growing up, you know. But, man, there's so much dope stuff over here. You know what I wish, too, bro? People would cruise from downtown all the way to West Central and back. Now they just cruise downtown because, you know, like, especially the lowrider culture, you know, it's like, I got a lot of homeboys with dope cars, you know, I've had a couple of whips and I've sold them and whatnot, but it's just, to me, man, that's Burke, bro. I love it. And the chili cheese fries at the doghouse.
Yeah. Oh, bro.
Yeah, I know, dog.
I haven't been to the doghouse in a minute.
Yeah, dog.
There's so many ill places.
Yeah,
bro.
I know.
And, like, I haven't been to Lucky Boys yet.
Oh, bro. And that's the thing. It's not the most fancy Chinese food.
Oh, man, I don't even
But
care.
it's banging, dog.
I've heard their egg rolls are like...
Yeah, it's banging, dog. You know what I mean? All those little holes in the wall that this place has. And I think that's, you know, we talked a lot about food.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what makes this place unique. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you know, like, we just got, like, this little... Every place has that kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But here, it's just, like, one of those things we hold on too tight, you know? Because that you know, when's the most time you spend with your family? Is when you're sitting down and have a meal with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, with them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I think that's why, like, and then art and music is, you know, you listen to music with your family and you party.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or your homeboys or your homegirls, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. This is just it's just a different vibe from everywhere. Just, that's what I love about the homeboy Hawaii.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nah, bro, because I think that state is one of the only states that really resembles us artistically, like, in a sense of, like, community.
Yeah.
And I never even been there. But from what we've talked about, and my homeboy Daniel, you know what I mean? Like, plus we're the only two majority states in the union for the longest time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we held on to
And
our
that's,
cultures.
I want to talk to him, like, you know, the comparisons, the similarities and the differences. And of course, you know, the ocean, that's, you know.
Yeah, that's one thing we don't know about, bro. We're like, the ocean, Elephant Butte, bro? Or
like, what's water?
You're all tingly or
water?
what?
What?
Yeah, exactly. No.
Man.
For sure.
It's like people want the beach, the water park to come back. And I'm
Dude.
like, what water, dude? What water?
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I wanted to too, bro.
Yeah,
but
man.
It sucks because, like, again, for the kiddos, you know,
Yeah.
what do they got to do besides go to cliffs and do drugs, dog?
Yeah.
I mean, there's community centers and all that, but they want to get, you know, they want to get lit, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They want to do what adults are doing too fast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I tell that to my parents, bro, like, yo, don't let your kids say they're bored. Just, like, sign them up for something. Because I know when I was a kid, my dad was like, oh, John, I'm going to sign you up for basketball. I was like, oh, Dad, I don't want to play basketball.
Yeah.
And then I liked it. Yeah. I liked playing basketball. He's, I'm going to sign you up for soccer. I don't want to play soccer. And I really liked it. And I found out that I was a pretty good athlete. You know what I mean? And then baseball. Like, I played everything growing up. And, you know, you can't tell your parents that you're bored because it's like, all right, well, I'm going to show you how to change a tire. It's like, all right, cool. And don't get me wrong, those are definitely skills that you need to. But it was like, all right, you're going to wash the steps. You're going to, you're going to mow the lawn. You know, you're going to do something. Yeah. Don't tell me that you're bored. But, you know, I'm thankful that my parents were like, try this, try that. You know? Yeah. And there were times I was kicking and screaming, but
I could never tell my dad I was bored. My dad I was bored because he was, you know, he was a block and brick mason. So he'd be like, "Oh, you're bored? Go pull those weeds."
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, "No, I don't want to, bro." Yeah. You know what I mean? So I never told my dad I was bored. He'd be like, "Oh, go stack those block or pull these block off the truck." I had to do it anyways, but you know what I mean? I can never tell my dad I was bored, but yeah, no, I understand, bro. That's why I got real creative at a young age. Dude, it was just a different time, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it builds character. I guess they're going to have their own character when they get older, you know what I mean? And I hope them the best. And
Word.
You know, I hope more of them be more artistic.
Yeah.
Without being pushed. You know?
Yeah, it's funny, man. A lot of the kids want to be YouTube stars.
Yeah, bro.
And I tell them, like, okay, what does your favorite YouTube person do? It's like, oh, they box, or they're dancers, or they're singers, or they do comedy. And I'm like, all right, all those people have a skill.
Yeah.
And then they make the YouTube video.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they have a talent. You know what I mean? I mean, there are people on there that show you how to fix did your cabinet door break? This is how you fix it. You know, there's tons of stuff on YouTube. Yeah. But they all, they do the videos after they've learned that skill or that talent, or they're talented and they're showing the world what they have. I'm like, you can't just, and maybe some people do, I don't know. They just show up on YouTube and look at the camera and do dumb shit. I don't know. But
no, there is mad people like that. But, yeah.
But I tell my kid, like, yo, what's your interest? Like, other than watching YouTube, you know what I mean? I'm sure they're there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, and it's kind of hard. Like I said, they have the option of learning, but I think it also kind of eliminates the experimentality with that craft.
Yeah.
The willingness for you to learn it on your own to a certain extent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but there needs to be more outlets here for them, like you said, bro.
Yeah.
For sure, something. Not just Warehouse 508, you know what I mean? Not just the internet, not just Instagram and selfies and all this other shit.
The mall.
Yeah, exactly, bro. And like, dude, Albuquerque's changed. We're growing, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like we're kind of losing our sense of community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's important, bro. That's important. Community's important. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Like, neighbors don't talk to neighbors no more.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, neighbors would take care of you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, mijo, have you ate? No, come inside.
Yeah.
Sit down. Because they knew you.
It's definitely, to me, it seems that Albuquerque has gotten really shy.
Yeah, bro.
And I don't know if it's this area in particular, because, we're near the university. There's a bunch of different people.
Yeah, for sure.
But even when I moved back and I moved into my apartment, like, I introduced myself to my neighbors, and it's just kind of, hey, hi, I'm John. All right. It's like, what the hell, bro?
Yeah, no, see, and that's not how it was growing up, where the places I lived. And like I said, I've lived in mad places here. And every place I moved to, there was only one place where the neighbors wouldn't talk to you,
Yeah.
But just, that they would know, oh, your mom's at work, your dad's at work. They'd bring me a plate of food. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And be like, oh, I brought one for your mom. I know she's at work,
Yeah.
when she was around, and my dad when he was at work or whatever,
Yeah.
my sister or whatever, and my cousins or whatever, and that's one thing that I trip out too is like how people just move mad far away. But like in your situation, your parents were in the military.
Yeah.
And, there's opportunity out there for people, but I think here, that whole term land of entrapment, it's not entrapment, bro. We stick close to our community.
Yeah.
Because that's always what we relied on.
Yeah.
And it's not saying that you can't, be unlimited and go seek something out.
Yeah.
It's just the certain people, they choose to exist within the community that made them,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of whack, dog, that your neighbors, because like, the house that we have now, the neighbors really don't talk. The only dude who talks to me is this old Chicano dude down the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, yep.
They're cool.
Yeah.
Marcus, and I forget his girlfriend's name. They're cool. Like, he's studying to be a doctor.
Oh, sick.
And I think she is too. And then their sister's really cool. His sister, she lives right next door.
Oh, dope.
They're dope. And then I think they moved out. My next door neighbors, they're like young. I think they just graduated high school. They're going to UNM. They don't really. I'll say hi, and they won't.
Yeah.
Hey, they'll keep walking.
Yeah, no.
And then there's a teacher on the far end of the complex. He's cool. And then there's two brothers. They're older brothers. They live on the other side, on the other end. Yeah. And they're cool. But like, this is the first time I've really interacted with my neighbors. All the other places I've lived, it's been kind of like
hit or miss.
Whatever. Yeah.
For sure.
Man. But what's something that you would like, or what's a message that you would give the artists that are coming up in Albuquerque or New Mexico in general that you would like to say?
A specific style of art, or just in general?
What's
Be inspired by what you see on social media, but don't be scared to experiment on your own.
Yeah.
Because those people you're probably inspired by, whether it's YouTube or, whatever, Instagram, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're probably from a generation, or the person that inspired the person that you're inspired by is from a generation where there was experimentation.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to create your own lane to a certain extent, because when you conform too much, then you're just a robot.
Word.
That's all. And then stay G'd up from the feet up.
Well, man, I'm going to wrap it up now. I definitely want to have you back, because I know it was great hearing your story. And then, food. I want to hear more of your story.
Word, yeah, I'm down.
I want to hear more of the knowledge that you have. Not just Albuquerque, but New Mexico and Chicano culture.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's 2 hours and 39 minutes, man. Let's do this again, like sooner rather than later. But thanks for being on the show, man, on the podcast.
Heck yeah.
In my kitchen, bro. So yeah, man, I really appreciate it, and we should go get something to eat, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Yeah, thank you, Jim.
Hey, man. It's the Red and Green Report, the Orderly Podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes. Thank you for listening. Peace.